Jeremy, can you hear me?
Yep, I don't see you.
Really? Oh,
There you
there we
go.
go. Hey, welcome everyone. We're back on our weekly stream for Makko AI. Makko AI. We are a 2D game and art studio where you can bring your ideas to life. Uh, you can show up at Makko whenever you'd like every week and build 2D art, 2D game prototypes, and vertical slices and full on playable games in our art and code studio. I'm going to add Brandon here because he joined, but he can tell me if he doesn't want to. Um, you've got myself, Tony, one of the co-founders and head of marketing and product. You've got Jeremy on the horn here. He's our CEO, CTO, visionary, building the thing. And you've got our head of engineering, lead engineer, Brandon Makko Bracho, who's actually building the little game that we're going to be building and doing live on the stream. Every week, we're going to have this show. We're going to kick it off with Jeremy talking a little bit about what's going on with the platform and what we're building and showing off some cool stuff. We won't always have time, but if we have time, I will show off the little indie game that I'm building using Makko, but not like as a part of the Makko brand, really like treating it more like a community game. And then for an hour and a half every week, we will actually intentionally build our first party game live with Brandon. It's called Rift Runners. We'll have him talk about that when we go to that segment. And we're having a lot of fun. We're building it like legit from the ground up every week. You can tune in and watch it go from a set of different colored squares and circles full on through to a little game that you would recognize as an indie game on Steam. So with that, I will kick it over to Jeremy. As a quick reminder, last week we covered some updates to our animation pipeline that Jeremy was working on. He showed some early primitives and prototypes of that, and then we moved into Rift Runners. Jeremy's done has a bunch of updates on that pipeline, and we're gonna take a look at them now.
Hey, Brandon, your mic's coming through. You breathe in and stuff. So,
I was muted. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So, also, first of all, Brandon, I don't know if you noticed, Cerebras went public this week. You were super interested for a while. What are they sitting at? I just now noticed they went public May 14th, actually last week. So about a week behind on news. But they're down to 290 now. There you go. Investment opportunity.
I already
not financial advice. Disclaimer. But Cerebras is running GPT's new like instant or whatever they launched and haven't expanded it at all, but they're very, very fast AI. So it's a interesting company.
Yeah, I was super interested in them. I actually already kind of invested in it.
Oh, you already did it?
Yeah, they were in the headlines for getting a bunch of investment after they went public. So I'm like, oh, this might be the time. I mean, they've gone down a little bit more accessible since then, but
yeah, it's hard. Let's see what Meta. I remember when they went public, it like dropped by like 80% for like 6 months, and then it blew up. Of course, now it's super high. So
at this point, I'm obligated to tell the audience that everyone on this call has only ever lost money on investments, and you should take nothing that we're saying as investment advice.
Yeah, that's not too far from the truth. I took crypto investing advice from Tony, and I lost 95% of it. So
definitely don't take advice from me. None.
All right, so we can get going. So basically, for the animation pipeline, right now we have like a character animation pipeline, and I walked through it last week. But the general idea there is that you create characters and then those characters you animate. So it's caused a bunch of issues. It's caused a bunch of issues over time, and basically we're trying to remedy that, make it simpler, be able to composite different items a lot easier. And so yeah, I don't remember exactly what we covered last week, so I'll run through locally what we got going here. So we'll just start sharing our screen. We also have a little mini redesign going on our collections pages. Basically, I'm on a free account here locally, but we have some concept art limits that got raised recently for premium users up to 100. You can have a lot more sub collections. Might not actually be a limit to that. We're adding animations as a type, and we're adding sprite sheets to show up in game assets. So let's go pull open. Yeah, let's pull open prod. You can just see right now everything is just a running list of everything. So like you could see easily there were 100 items here. Like this page would be huge, right? So we already kind of have the tabs. It's just a navigation. So we're just like simplifying there. Another thing, piece of feedback we've gotten is like the create logic is like confusing. So we're consolidating. Consolidating this down to like a more Google style new button that has everything wrapped into it. So you don't have to worry about where it's at or whatnot. There's just a single way to do things. So that's all just trying to simplify for customers and nothing too crazy there. We're always looking at usage and feedback to try and simplify user flows. So anyways, so you can see here, I think I already did part of this demo last week. The new stuff, so you can come in here, generate an animation. I demoed the old flow, and just as a recap, the old flow, we won't go through it all, but we'll just show one of our. I think she's got a bunch of animations. So the old flow is you created a character, then you generated animations for a character. The problem is you got your reference sheet. You can't do anything outside of this. The create animation blurb is very, very non-helpful. It's very freeform. This was one of our earlier product features. So we just want to clean all this up. And so now what we have here, it's, we just have 3 generation types: image, character. Character is technically considered legacy at this point. We're going to still allow you to use it, but we'll move it down to the bottom of the list and discourage usage. Because really all character is essentially a collection for a very specific type of asset. So it doesn't really make sense anymore. So anyways, you just be able to come in animation. You basically select your stuff, your references, and then you can generate, based on presets. So you can have freeform actions or preset actions. So now if all you want is like a running direction, there's this auto here, which will, I think, defaults to the right, unless your reference images can change that. But it does default to what I should say is the best selected thing, and then falls back to the right. So best based on context in your reference images. You can create perspectives now. Still have a plan to add freeform here. So at the end of the day, you'll be able to do your prompts as normal, but now like our other generation, we provide a lot more guidance. And then the other really cool thing, this might not make it in the first release, but it'll come shortly after. Dragoon says someone is breathing heavily. Might be what I was hearing earlier.
That is weird. I mean,
I think it's me. I think I'm the heavy breather.
But you guys were both muted, so
I wonder if it's on TikTok.
Oh yeah, because your mic is probably open, so don't say anything.
There we go.
Don't say anything. There we crazy go. Over there.
I'm mute. I know. I just muted myself on TikTok.
I was super concerned. I'm like, does mute not work?
Yeah. I mean, I heard it earlier, and I don't have TikTok on my computer, so I don't know where it was coming from. But once you remuted, it went away. All right, cool. Let's hope we got that working. But the general idea here, though, is you select your references. Now it's more like run's already selected, so you can still say like running, holding a torch. That's fine. But the idea here is that like all of this stuff will just come through, and it just handles it for you. And then the other big thing, and this is in preparation for adding models like Cdance and Google's and Google I/O right now. So we'll add the new VO model, all exciting stuff. This is the new UI for model selection, so you have more freedom over it. We'll add the cheaper light VO3 one, so it's a little bit cheaper. One thing is we're working on also our freemium tier versus our paid tiers, trying to optimize that. So with these selections, fast and full, will get you. We'll need to be premium, and then we'll also light up all the resolution choices. So for light, it's only 1080p, but for fast and full, you can go to 4K. And so, but this is another good call out here. One of the reasons we wanted to do this is before this UI obviously just isn't great. This simple complex is what controlled between toggling between model types. It's just not a good UI. It's very confusing. The cost does increase, but you don't have fine-grained controls over what you need, because like you may actually need like really high quality things for certain animations, like with particle effects, and then other ones like running or dodging or something. Maybe you don't need it. So we want to give control over things, and to be honest, some models are better at certain things than others. So this will give you full control over all of that. Hopefully nothing too crazy. 1080p and especially 4K are drastically more expensive. Just as a note, we don't take margin on the cost of generation. All our margin and stuff is baked into the subscription and credit buys. So when you see something here's 22 credits or the 1080p is more expensive, I don't know what I think it's like 40 credits. When you see those sort of things, we're not actually taking off the top in this. Like these generations are passed along to you as is. So ours are baked into the actual subscription and top up purchasing. The credits are essentially 1-to-1 to cost. So originally I was trying to stay away from putting too expensive of options here because we didn't have a great UI, but now that we have fully configurable, it's kind of like we're just going to go add the best things here for the people that need them, and for others they can use the cheaper models. Because for example, Dance 2 for a 4-second clip at 720p, I think it would be like 80 credits. So it's quite a bit more expensive. And then if you go up to 4K, it's like literally 100. It'll be like 300 credits. So for a lot of things, that's completely overkill. But Dance 2 is also extremely good. So if you just need that one animation or whatever, like we want to provide that. That was weird. Makko Man rejoined. Sorry, I'm getting cues that Tony is doing weird stuff.
That was my fault. This is my fault. I changed something on my camera and it completely made me rejoin because I wanted to ask. Now that I'm just this faceless
now
thing,
you're just the OBS icon.
Yeah, I tried to change something and it broke it. But Jeremy, I think it'd be cool if you, because there's a couple of things here that are really interesting, that are different. I think one, before or in our current flow, you couldn't really take two things like this and make them one animation. You were making animations based on a character, and you had to like tell the animation, put a torch in the character's hand instead of having the reference image side by side. And so I think it might be interesting if you like just take from like the top, how would you make the two things that we're looking at here in the platform and then put them together? So like I don't know if that's a workflow you could show us.
Yeah. So
and I'm gonna do something that might make a weird noise, but I'll be right back.
Let me do something. Let me make my. I don't have anything set up locally to not do simple tests. Sorry, I'm doing something on the other screen in my admin panels. I got to give myself. I got to give myself not the crappy little account. I have the query saved. Cool. Yeah. Sounds like we're still having technical difficulties with TikTok. And
all right, I'm going to close out our TikTok.
what? I don't know what's happening. Okay, I think we're still here.
Yeah, we're still here. I don't know what's happening, but
Yeah, I think Tony keeps like pressing buttons and the wrong buttons and coming in and out. And
Am I back? Can you guys see me? You guys hear me?
Nope.
can
I
hear
can
you.
hear you.
Yeah.
Can't see you.
Okay, sweet.
All right. Oh yeah, you guys can't see this. Cool. All right, I gotta go get my query to make myself. I should have done this beforehand. Sorry, guys. I got to make myself an admin, and then I got to upgrade my subscription locally. It's a fun little song and dance.
Yeah, but I think all the changes that you've made locally here are going to help out a bit, especially the tabs that we have here, because we did upgrade from this one large list of presets, and now we have everything categorized into tabs.
Yep. Yeah. It's my panel is not loading locally. 1 second. Might need to restart everything. Not the computer, just the local dev servers.
Yeah, and I think all the generation options here that you were talking about earlier will help too, because we've seen some feedback where there's been some concept art that has a really good front, side, and back reference. And then when we go to generate an animation, maybe certain aspects are a little, I don't know, lower fidelity or a little bit different from the concept image. And so when these changes are pushed live, I believe that that'll help with the accuracy from concept image to animation.
Yep. That is the goal, and we'll keep iterating. Sorry, I was opening in the wrong browser. My Chrome is my local test browser, and I was not opening it in Chrome. It is loading now, finally. But yes, that's the goal. Is it's easier to use. There's no crazy gotchas, and give flexibility to the user.
All right, I fixed it. I just killed TikTok because I think they were here. All they could hear was my heavy breathing. For some reason, my mic was, even when muted, was coming through over on TikTok. And I fixed my my camera.
Yeah.
That's the wrong genre of video, Tony. We're a tech video.
Screw TikTok is what I heard. Because nobody likes TikTok. Everybody from TikTok come to YouTube or Twitch or somewhere else. That's what I heard.
That's what I heard.
All right. I have my subscription live. Okay, cool. So now, all right. So from the top, that's what we're doing. Sorry, guys. So what I did here with these guys is I just uploaded images. So my downloads aren't like crazy. So like here, let's use my Discord icon.
Well, luckily we can't see your panels, so we can't see any download history, which is safe.
Cool. So you just see it pop up. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So we'll start with we'll do something with my cool guy. So let's go ahead and do like a character concept, and I want we want it to be a scene, but we definitely want it full body. So 3/4. So I'll just say like take my cool Discord avatar and make him full screen in a cool night outfit. We definitely want to be anime still. The knight is a modern take on FF9 style. There we go. We'll just see what we get here.
We're getting like a Steiner companion.
Hopefully not like Steiner, but we'll see. So let's see what we get here. I should make sure all my workflows are working locally. Got a billion things running locally. Always fun. Like it's working. So anyways, so the idea here is you could animate this guy as is, but probably be pretty bad. So we want full body, like we want to be able to see him. And you can upload a full body like this one I animated in our production, and then I just downloaded it and I re-uploaded it here, and I just reuse it all the time. So nothing crazy. All right, there we go. Hell yeah. This is exactly what I want. So it took his space-ish background, went ahead and used that. We're great. We're off to the races here. And it's like, yeah, I'm liking this. All right. All right, we're gonna save that for sure. And so we could animate this probably as is, but we're gonna need reference images for better animation. So and this flow is actually going to be redone too. It's just not done yet. Right now, you can only save as a character and get reference images there. That's going to change to any like reference image can generate a reference sheet is what we're going to do, and then it's going to be assigned to the reference sheet. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm saving it out as a new type of character. It shows up in game assets. It's just an entirely different thing. In the future, it'll be like, when you're animating, you'll click it and it'll go, hey, you don't have a reference sheet for this. Do you want to generate one? Because you can animate this, but you might get weird artifacting or inconsistencies if you don't have a reference sheet. So anyways, we'll just name this Makko Boss Knight. And we'll generate our reference sheets. Take a minute. Fun thing with AI is everything takes a minute. I feel really bad because, not really bad, but I feel entitled. I don't know what the right word is, but when I first started using AI, I was like, oh my God, everything's so fast. I don't have to do anything. I just saved 10 hours. And now after using it just all the time, I'm like, oh my God, everything's so slow.
It's not instant.
Here we go. Great. Got our great reference sheets. If you watched last week, there was a bug here. We fixed it. Now you actually get good reference sheets. One thing we're going to do in the new UI, which is probably what I'll work on tomorrow, is you'll be able to iterate individually on each reference sheet. So for the front and side, it's probably not that important, still needed. But for the back, the AI is literally just inventing what the back is. So maybe you want a cape, or maybe you want something else. The original image doesn't have a cape, so you'd need to add it to the original. But maybe you want like embroidery on, I don't know what this is called, whatever his half cape skirt thing is.
I was thinking maybe the back, because the back kind of looks like the front generation right now. So you can kind of like guide AI to be more like a back plate instead of a front breastplate area.
It's true. It just like implied the back was the same as the front, right? So like you might want to clean it up and say like, hey, the back should be plain. There's no gem. There's no, whatever. So that's going to all be supported in the future. So now, actually don't know if that was worthwhile, because like I said, this is locally. This is all right. Here, let's do one more thing. Let's go ahead and generate a weapon. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to come down to like an object, a game prop. Seems good. And it's, sprite, object, front. Let's do 3/4. Okay, that's weird. This is new. I don't know if this is something locally that I messed up, or if we did this. This is interesting. We can't pick and choose and customize. Do you know, Brandon? Is this like intentional?
That is based off of presets right now. So if your preset is something that isn't supported, it'll tell you that it's not supported here. So maybe there's something with the map. Yeah,
we should talk about this, because this is not correct. So this is great demos. You always find broken stuff. This is not correct, because we absolutely should be able to customize our game objects to different things. Let's see if we can just go to a different. Also, just you may find it's weird. We have isometric prop, side view prop. This is actually a good example of why this should not be this way. Is you should just be able to do sprite object and then select your view here. We actually shouldn't even have those other presets. So here we go. Let's, whatever. Let's just do no preset. I'll just do it. Okay, cool. It leaves it on the last preset. So now what we want to do, which is always why we have the no preset. We don't want to lock people in. Now we want to let's say, let's kind of do something fun. I haven't done it. Let's say 2 sword set meant to be dual wielded together. And let's just say long sword and short sword. Use the reference as a style guide. It will be wielded by my character. So it's always good to provide instructions on how this should be working and like the intent behind what it's going to be used, so it can figure it out. So hopefully, what we should do here is we're going to get an actual game object that should not be held by him. It should be an individual object or 2 swords. And this is important so that you could come in here and generate a bunch of different weapon sets for your character that you don't want to have to regenerate them on your character. Because ideally, you can just, if you have 10 different characters, you can generate 10 different weapons. They're the same style, and then generate sprites for your character holding them. And then, of course, in 3D, you would do this in a much smarter way, which is just generate one 3D model. And so this is the other thing, is you can use our spriting and then eventually our reference sheets to take it into like Blender or something. And then you can just model off the reference sheets we have. It's a common modeling technique. If you're working with 3D artists or you're trying to take it to any of the 3D generators, having those different references will be worthwhile. Pretty much everything starts 2D. I would say nobody, very few people just start with 3D. You start with some sort of reference. You start with, mood boards essentially of the styles you want. That's why, like in the first character, I said, oh, let's go ahead and use Final Fantasy 19 as like the kind of the style or Final Fantasy 9 is the style that I want. And so it's still anime. It's not like it carbon copied from the game. It's still a unique style, but it's kind of like that's the motivation of your art and inspiration.
And I think all the Resident Evil games do a really good representation of this, because you can unlock all their concept art and view it, and then you can view their 3D models that they've generated from that concept art.
Look at those swords.
Yeah.
Look at those swords.
So I'm going to save it out as a reference, but so this is a great thing. I'll probably use the green screen reference, but now so this one I don't know would be great, but say you wanted a single one of these and you just wanted to lay it in your game somewhere, just as like on top of the background, or maybe you wanted to use it as an icon. Maybe you want to use this as an icon. You can now save it as a prop here, and it would just be dual swords. And so it's saved to props. So if you come over to game assets now you have a clean game asset ready to go. This is ready to take into another program. It's ready to use wherever you want.
Right, and that could be anything from a skill symbol, right? Like activate dual wield. That could be things that are hanging on the wall if you're using it in the background of a platformer, right? Anything where you might want a 2D asset or a 2D flat representation of the swords, right? And you can think of all kinds of uses for that in situation.
Yep. And that specific icon, I'm not sure I would use in the game, but yeah. All right.
Yeah,
so
now that we can take them externally too. Have we gone over like how we can actually do that real quick?
Yeah. So you can. So we have this export, which will export everything into folders.
So that'll export everything. Right now it exports everything at that collection and below, and so you can like kind of get sub collections and just export those if you want, or export everything at the root collection.
Yeah, so that's your quick way. Or so for my sprites, and I'll be coming to do this for everything else. So you can just hit download here. Like your sprite sheets will actually pop up a download that'll have your Sprite JSON file and the sprite sheet. And then on these guys, you can just save image as. We'll add it in here too, and we'll probably have some sort of like bulk action in the future where you can just click through your game assets and download the ones you want. Okay, so let's go to the animation now. So, okay. Oh, this is where I put the warning sign. Okay, this is. I was like, I'm pretty sure I added some of this. So now, I actually want to use. This is not. You're getting to see the development build. This is not actually what would show up. What we actually would show up is you would click this guy up here, and it would auto pass these 3 reference images we generated. However, this is, like I said, my task I'm working on tomorrow. So for now, it shows up as 3 reference images. So we can even use, if we want to, the transparent one. Actually, let's just go ahead and use the transparent one. I actually don't know how that'll work, but you can see the idea here is we would want to generate a reference sheet for the swords also. So then the swords, you'd pass multiple reference sheets. And so the animation pipeline would be able to use all of it. So we're just going to do same thing. I'm really excited for the new VO build because it's real bad at attack animations right now. So the new video mob, C-Dance is much better. That's why it's next on our list. But so the idea here, though, is we don't want run. We want like an attack, and we'll just say like dual sword, quick attack, short sword, held, inverted, blade towards ground, long sword, held, upright, blade towards sky. And then, so it's dual sword, quick attack. That's pretty much it, right? So we shouldn't need anything else. We'll see what we get here. And then what it's going to go off and do is it's going to take these references. It generates basically a scene. There's a scene director. It'll generate the scene, and then we'll pass it on and actually generate the video file.
And how do you decide like the layout here, right? This is pretty different than what our experience looks like right now. Like, how'd you decide that this is what it was going to look like relative to the current animation pipeline?
Yeah, that's a good question. So for collections and the new generation flow in general, we did a bunch of competitive analysis, not just our competitors, but what are media companies doing with art assets. One of the big things is we want it to be easy, but we also don't want users to have to learn an entirely new flow that's unfamiliar if they've used other AI products. And so that's really how we settled on this. And then once you have a consistent generation pipeline, you want to do as much as possible, use the same sort of look and feel for all generations. You don't want users to have to learn 5 different UIs. And so I won't promise this is the last version we ever do. That's probably unlikely, but at least for where we're at right now, this is where we landed through user testing and using it ourselves. And then, of course, a lot of these, it's worth saying, a lot of these UIs are not mobile friendly because there's so much going on. And if we get big enough and successful enough, maybe at some point in the future, we would
mobile optimize.
Yeah, mobile optimize. So here we go.
I've been trying to add nice little, dynamic mobile optimizations as we go, but yeah, we're not testing that every day, right?
So, yep, and we don't want it to be broken on mobile. We just want it to work well on PC. So here is the first frame of the animation that the scene editor generated. So this is how the animation will start. He is holding both swords upside down, which is annoying, but we've gotten feedback on like, hey, maybe we should be able to edit this. Which is not a bad idea. That it will not be in this iteration because like so the sword towards the sky, holding it normally just won't be in this animation because the first frame is wrong. But that's unfortunate with AI at this point. It's iteration. Gotta keep working on it. And the shitty thing about video is, and animations in general, is you can't really iterate per se, since it's a collection of things you're generating. We've talked about generating frame by frame. It's always on the to do if we think it would be better. Just it would be, I mean, generating like 15 images back to back to back, providing feedback on each one. Not sure it's something our users want right now, but we're always looking into that. So, and it's also always dangerous using a Google product on Google I/O because they might change something on you right underneath your nose. So,
And Brandon, you did a lot of the design work on the buttons and stuff here. What were some of the explorations and ideas you had around like how to make it clear that these are things to interact with on the site?
Yeah, so the generation options up there that have that soft fill right now. So originally we didn't have a soft fill, and we didn't have icons for everything either. So it was a little bit confusing. Maybe we thought that there was a title for a button that was actually a button. So just kind of iterated through what made sense. I mean, there's a bunch of white papers out for usability too, that I looked over for all this. And so there was an option between just the highlight or a highlight with also the soft fill in there. And so we landed on soft fill because we thought that it looked good just by usability testing and testing it ourselves. And so, yeah, we're always looking to make things more accessible and easier to use. Jeremy's over here laughing at his animation.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So this is where this is why we want to get Seedance, and this is also why I'm very excited for the new VO. And actually, Sora killing itself was very sad because it was better at some of these things than the other video generators. You can see though that like the animation immediately, VO was like, "Screw your swords! I don't want to use them. I'm gonna turn them into a different sword." Like, why did it do that? I don't know. Just decided to do it, but we'll go through the workflow. Also, it's not really an attack. This is known that the current video models outside of Seedance really suck at attack animation. So I just thought I would show it off to show the limitations right now. But hopefully in the next week or two, all of this is, you can just spend a little more credits and get a better attack animation. But basically what happens now though is, so to turn this into a sprite sheet, we got to clean the background. So when you hit save, just start cleaning the background. And then once it's done, oh, also something I didn't show. Oh, I apparently didn't add it. Another feature that I am debating adding, because sometimes you just need multiple generations, is being able to generate like 2 or 3 videos at a time and then choosing the best one to save. What I'm always trying to balance, and this is where configuration is good, is like, we don't want, our $20 users probably don't want to come in and generate 4 Seedance 2 videos at once. But if you're pretty far along and you just need to fill in your animations or fill in your characters, or you just want the highest quality possible, it doesn't matter that you spend $500 in a month to do it. You are going to want to like generate 4 at a time, use Seedance to all those things, right? Because you just want the best. Which it's really funny, similar to AI being, complaining it's slow. I'm always like, oh yeah, generating an animation for $10 is expensive. That's not what it actually costs. But like if you did like 10 Seedance 2 and chose the best one out of the 10, you might spend $10, right? Oh yeah, that's really expensive. Except it's not, right? Like if you have to go work with someone, do your vision, they have to actually animate it.
Yeah, if you were actually like paying a human to do the animations, you'd be spending $100 on the consultation session.
Yeah, exactly. So So the $10 is expensive for everybody to be able to do it, and that's our goal, is that everybody can make these games. But if you're like seriously into wanting to make an indie game and you don't want to learn art, it's really not that expensive. Which I do encourage everybody to go learn any of these skills yourself, because you're gonna, even just the direction I gave at the beginning, you're gonna be able to give better direction. You're gonna know better terminology. You're gonna be able to identify
Even stuff like
some-
cleaning up the frames here, like, is better if you know, if you've made them yourself at one point.
Right. So, okay. So the next thing we're going to do, clearly the front of this animation is terrible. So we're just going to get rid of like all of it. So this drops you into our frame editor. In the past UI, we've also had a lot of complaints. It was confusing. Was not really obvious you could edit these frames. So now it's just front and center, but we'll just start. Well, before I get too far, also before it was kind of hard to reset, or you wanted to resize. So like if you start editing now and then you want to resize, it's like, bam, you're resized, you're done. No biggie. Before it was a little hard to do that. And I'm noticing the canvas is cut off. So I'll add that to my bug list. Canvas cut off on top. Because what this should be doing is showing it should not be cutting off like that. You should be, the big sprite sheet won't do that, but the previewer is just a bug. But so anyways, the point was, if you're doing all this stuff, you need it bigger, smaller. Like you may want to look at it 1024 while editing, just so it's bigger. You almost assuredly do not want a sprite sheet that big. It would be humongous. So you might want to go to like 64 or 128, depending on how this character is used. This is all dynamically resized, and then it's baked into the bake sheet. Whatever you preview here is what's in the bake sheet now. So that's all a little bit more obvious. And then if you need to, for some reason, most likely, if there's a bug, we push an update in like the frame cleaning or something, you can re-extract frames. It's all deterministic. So meaning re-extracting it 25 times won't get you a different result. But if we do push an update or something, like if you guys bug report something, we'll fix it that day, get back to you. You might want to re-extract to do the bug fix. But the big one here is the reset frame edits. You can just hit that. It'll tell you what changed. We changed the order and we deleted 6 frames. So you just do that and bam, you're right back to the original animation. So this is something we wanted to clean up. Tons of feedback on how a lot of this was just not very friendly. So let's just clean up the animation real quick. Unfortunately, we don't really need the wind up, I don't think. So let's make them big so we can see what's going on. So one other thing, we can resample frames here. We actually don't want it at 24 FPS. Probably for a game, we want something like 8 FPS. Oh, it's so annoying. He got 2 swords back.
Yeah, he one of his little sword turned into a big sword.
Yeah, and he did it twice. That's wonderful. All right. Well, we're not going to get a grade in it. Well, actually, what if we just go to... Okay. Just for the sake of this, we'll actually kill the 1 sword wind up entirely.
Yeah.
And then just start with 2 swords. And then you can notice, like, using AI, some of these frames need cleaned up. This is why in the long term, for AAA games and stuff, artists, I don't believe, will be out of jobs. I think getting a lot of these frames will help them dramatically, but like you're going to get a better animation if you know what you're doing and you can come clean these things up. And one thing we've debated is like adding tools to clean up in the tool set here itself, but most of our customers right now aren't looking for that sort of
high touch.
There we go. We got a real goofy animation going on. Great demo here. So normally, if we weren't on stream, I would have just regenerated and not tried to work with this. And actually,
Yeah, let's just regenerate it. Why not? Let's just do it.
all right, let's regenerate it. And this time I will give less direction. Yeah, because that was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. And I'll just say be sure to use the same swords all the way through. I mean, that shouldn't really do anything, but we'll just add some extra guidance to make sure based on the bug before. And actually, I want to try something. So this is a really weird thing, but the light model in VO3.1 is actually newer than fast and full. So even though it's cheaper, sometimes it actually does a better job. So dual sword, quick attack, short cell, sword, inverted, long sword, upright. I'm just gonna get rid of that. See, as the models get better, we'll be able to be more specific, but that might be catching it up right now. And just say, there we go. Let's just see what we'll get with light. This is where
iteration. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say this is where I wish we had CDance hooked up, because this is in my testing with CDance, which is why I'm really excited for it. These sort of bugs that happen in VO, you just throw it in CDance and it just look amazing. And so, it's more expensive, but it is quite a bit better. So,
yeah. So all this iteration does remind me of when Tony and I used to work in the studio at EA together, and whenever there was an animation bug, we'd have to go upstairs to the animator's desk for like Madden, and it was just a lot of legwork to go talk to somebody. This was before like all of our instant messaging was super popular, but yeah, then they'd go in, they'd mess around with a couple of things, and like, all right, we're gonna export it. It'll take a couple hours. I'm like, oh, okay. So being an animator, and this was a 3D animation, by the way, but it took a while.
Yeah, that's all much faster now too. But
yeah, of course,
you're back in the. Just start calling you boomers. Wow. We're talking about books. We're talking about not being able to use instant messenger. You're basically a boomer, right?
That's right.
My 10-year-old asked me how old I was when I got my first phone, because she wants her first phone now, and I was like, "Oh, buddy, I was like 17 years old, and you paid by the minute still." And my parents used to get upset with me when I texted my girlfriend too much in 1 month because it cost them an extra $50. I was like, "You don't even understand. Communication was a premium when I was growing up. Like literally, you paid for communication in a way that I don't think people can even fathom now." That's the oldest I've ever felt saying those words. Shit.
Well, even older than you, I believe I have stories from my grandparents being like, they're calling long distance, and they had to hurry up to the phone because it would cost like multiple dollars.
Oh, dude, I still remember. So like I'm in that Oregon Trail generation. My dad is a high school he's 80 years old now, but my dad was a high school football coach and teacher, and so we used to take summer trips every summer out west. We'd go camping and stuff. My mom wouldn't come, but I would call home, from Utah or Ohio or from Florida. And I remember calling collect on a payphone. That was a thing. Like, it's crazy.
Did your parents deny the charges?
Never. They always picked up. Oh, look at this. Okay, so this is better. This just looks like you just delete that one at the end where he's only got one sword.
Yeah, let's do something.
Ooh, yeah. Let's see what happens if we do it from the side. Caesar remembers having 300 megabyte data plans for the month.
Oh yeah.
One YouTube video away from getting overcharged.
I mean, it's still kind of that way when you travel, right? It's like,
you got to remember to tell them you're in Europe, or you come home to a $10,000 bill.
Yeah, and even if you tell them you're in Europe, they're like, "All right, you get 100 megabytes a day, and then you're dead. Like you're done."
My wife's from the Bahamas, and whenever we go there, like communicating back to the state, and like that's just over the, not very far over the water. Communicating back to the States is always like an exercise in math. It's like, ooh, did we hit the plan? Is it going to charge us $28 to send this text to my mom?
Is that all right? Let's check out this first frame. Okay,
that's looking.
We'll see.
Like
yeah, that looks better. We'll see what the. So it's always starting, and this is where like being able to edit these first frames would be super nice, is because this is actually the end of the animation we want. We'll see what it does, because this being the first frame, it's probably going to do some weird thing where he just leaves his here. We'll get another one going. So non-looping. Sword starts at side, trailing, swoosh behind the sword, ends extended.
And Jeremy talks about cost all the time, and I'm I'm terrible about it. I feel less bad because because it's my company, god damn it. But I blow a lot of our money, and it's because I actually love what Jeremy's doing right now. Like, this is actually like my favorite part of using this tool, is creating 6 sword swing animations and just picking the best one I like. And I can recognize that it's wildly inefficient, but it's so fun. And one of my favorite things too is to explore the different models, because they all do it a little bit different. And sometimes I find, like, for example, the GPT models, they are wonderful with the comic book style. They're just awesome, like great with the comic book style. But again, as Jeremy likes to make fun of me for, I love pastel colors. I love, like, these, my favorite characters are these little chibi characters. They got the little bodies and the fat heads, and VO just does not VO, Nana Banana just does those, like, incredibly well. It's got like a chibi DNA.
Yeah, it just really doesn't want to keep the sword there. That's this is where, like, you can definitely accelerate you right now, but you're not gonna be, that AAA quality right now, because it's real annoying, because the start. So VO starting frame generation is kind of shit. Like, sorry to say, Google. Like, I have a hard time understanding why Sora didn't go after more business customers, because they're pretty good. I think they messed up real bad trying to get a bunch of memes generated week 1, and they burned $500 million cash. But I think they had something going there with Sora for, use cases like ours. I think people are going too hard over the, generate a Hollywood movie sort of thing. But all right.
Ooh, look at this.
Wow.
Oh, okay. What?
He didn't do anything.
What?
Okay,
well,
so
no, I don't think. I think if you take the end there, like, I think you could. I don't know. I feel like you could take the end there and loop it, and you got yourself a little sword strike.
That's true. So, ideally in the future, and when I say the future, I mean a month or 2, this sort of stuff is, like, dramatically easier. But yeah, I see what you're saying now, Tony. So, like, the big thing now is if you can get the frames in any order, you can basically do your animation. So I'll show you. So this is, it's not the simple sword attack, but you can see right here immediately that looks great, like beautiful, right? And so the real goal is to take this, and we want to animate into that. But, like, right now, I think let's look at these frames. It's like the ending is okay. Speed this up.
It's almost like you can start from the middle.
That's what I'm saying. Start from the middle and reverse it. Yeah, bring it to the end.
You know what? It's almost like we need a play backwards button.
Yep. Oh.
Don't we have a reverse? We have a clone in reverse, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, we want to play backwards.
Yeah, but that's not play backwards. Yeah, sorry.
Do it it's like we want.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right
we
there.
went from, like, right here. We're going to delete everything after it. Just idling. So now.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, there we go. So now
okay, so now you're playing a tactical strategy game like Shining Force or Fire Emblem. This is your melee attack.
yeah, here's the thing. Oh, there it goes. Took a minute, reversing a lot of.
Oh, you're actually doing you deleted and then you're making more.
No. I clicked reverse and it's trying to reverse them. All right, this could probably be. I'm gonna make a note. Reverse massive amount of frames. Takes forever. Like I said, good demo. All right, created 66 reverse copies. So what that did now is it doesn't reverse them in line, but all right. So now what was that? Up to like 66 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So those are the same. So now we'll just delete the front ordering. We'll see what we got. So it is, yeah, it is close, but he does this like little. There's still way too many idle frames here, so let's just start deleting them and see where we end up. Because like, also in video, there's like a lot of frames you don't really want in a video game.
Yeah, like what I usually do is I'll go through and I'll find all the frames where like there's like literally no movement and just get rid of them, because for some reason it has like there's usually like dozens of frames that are like literally just there's no movement in the character.
Yeah, and if you're making a really low fidelity game, like a 16-bit game or something like that, or 8-bit game, like you might just want 6 frames or 8 frames.
I mean, before Jeremy made it a real product, the way that I was making animations, it's I was making individual images, and then I was doing it the opposite of the way we're doing it here, and then composing them into a sprite sheet that the game would then animate instead of making a video and then chopping it into frames. And those were all like the max we could do was like a 6-frame thing, and then it just completely broke down.
I mean, you did make a really good proof of concept.
Really good is debatable, but yeah.
All right, so we're almost there. Delete another 3. He's still doing his little. All right, so now I'll just like speed it up. There you go. So not perfect by any means, but what you would actually have it in the game is something like this. You actually, here, now that we have it, let's try resampling, because one of the big issues is there's too many frames in there.
Yeah, look at that. That looks a lot cleaner.
Yeah, and so, and actually what we want to do now is this disappears too fast. So like, let's go ahead and like bump the last frame, maybe the last 2 frames.
Oh, that resample button is going to be. Yeah.
Yeah, and realistically, what we want to do here is we just want to. I must have broken something. That's taking way too long to duplicate. I will look into that. And this is locally, so hopefully it's not broken in prod. I don't think it is, but so get because really the ending part is. So, and there's also, if you're using a real game engine and taking this to your game engine, even in Makko, you could tell it to sit on that last frame longer. But you can, we can easily take these last frames and extend them even farther. What we want to do here, I'm going to make a note. We want edit frame time to custom. What I really want to do is take this last frame and say, wait, is it not actually duplicating them? Yeah, there's a bug there. It is not.
I'm wondering if it's just locally because I was able to duplicate some frames.
Yeah, this is
yeah,
this is gonna be locally. I did a bunch of edits to this. Like I said, good thing for live demos. So what I'm looking at is I'm clicking duplicate. What it should do is like duplicate in its exactness this thing right here, but when it like I think what it's probably doing is it's probably adding in back in one of the frames we like deleted. So, but these should be the exact same frame, not different. So anyways, that's busted. But the idea would be like if you just went to that last thing, and you probably still want to kill some frames here. Like for a game, you want to go even farther. Go down to 4. And then maybe we can.
So for those of you who haven't been using Makko, oh hey Doug Hype, what's up, buddy? It's good to see you. We just had one of our friends pop into X and say hi. For those of you who haven't been using Makko before, this is like all the stuff Jeremy's showing is like dramatic quality of life improvements. Just the ability to like resample and get down to like a 4-frame animation like this is pretty different than what we've got now, and I think pretty exciting.
Yeah, and actually, so the other, why is this thing at the beginning? I think what it is, I think it's because, yeah, I know what it is. I'll have to go fix it. Oh shit, deleted a couple. I still don't like, not that it really matters because I'm not using this guy for anything. I still don't like how, oh, where's my undo button? What is he? Oh, did I remove that too? Oh no, undo button.
Gone forever.
Because yeah, it's gone forever now. Well, I can reset to the original, but that would be really painful because I deleted too many. Actually, what if we go back to 12? We get a couple back. Oh yeah, see, my duplicated frames were going to the beginning. That's annoying.
Oh, so you just have to drag them right now. Yeah.
So that's the bug. I was like, it was increasing the number. This is very weird.
I will say, like, one of my favorite quality of life improvements in this change is just being able to change sprite sheet sizes. Because when I was creating a quick game in Godot, I was creating a very large game because my sprite sheet was over 1,000 pixels wide.
Oh yeah.
and yeah,
all my games started crashing because everything was so big at one point.
Yeah. Well, funny, like in Godot, I had game physics, and it really affected the game physics because it looked like I was in outer space because my guy was a giant, and I needed to speed everything up.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, once you get it to how you want, you just do a sprite sheet spin slash, and then makes a sprite sheet for you, and then you can take this into whatever. If you download the whole package, it'll come with the Asprite package, which has some of these frame timings and everything, and is compatible with anything Asprite's compatible with. And you're good to go. I wanna see something. I'm gonna do an animation I think will work in this. Also, we're going to do instead of an attack, which I don't know why I did an attack because we know attacks don't work well super right now.
Yeah,
so
have him run with the swords.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Or idle, or I know what. we'll do a walk first.
So I am curious. We do support the Asperite JSON file there. Like, do any of our listeners use Asperite for their animations? Curious on their experience, like using that.
Leave it in the chat. Put it in the comments if you're watching this offline. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Doug
Yes.
Hype, are you subscribed? You're watching. Are you subscribed, my man?
Walking to the right, holding the swords. Or let's do this with the swords sheathed at the waist. So anyways, the good news is, and this is at least for the time being, is like you could get some of these attack animations to work right now, but of course that's not like a great answer. As we improve, I mean, in 6 months' time will be, I always tell people every 6 months it's just like going to be wildly better. But even if you were just like blocked on this immediately, the great thing is you have your swords, you have your reference art for your character. You can now send this to an animator and they would be able to do you a 6-frame swing or something. Or you could take this stuff and generate frame by frame in our reference and put your sprite sheet together manually, or you could take them to a different tool that lets you animate it quicker. One of our big philosophies too is like, we don't want to lock you in to our platform. So if you're a subscriber, like we want you to be able to take this stuff anywhere and do anything you want with it. And then as we get better on everything, you'll need to leave less and less and less is kind of the philosophy there. So I just want to see if we get a clean walk. I'm very sad. I was kind of hoping the light would, and actually while this is going, let's do Google video model. Not flow.
I think Google had a symposium or something recently, right? Where they went over a bunch of their new stuff. So
it's Google I/O. It's what I keep referencing. So okay. It's literally today and yesterday. So
yep.
Any to any model.
Anything from input starting with video.
Someone was really proud of themselves when they said that in a meeting. Guys, it's the any to any model. Johnson, you're a genius.
Yeah, I don't know if this is here. I want to see something. This guy. I signed in. Yeah, so I got some sort of subscription. We should at least be able to do one, right? All right, let's do these two guys. Let's see.
Oh, we're gonna do a little comparison. We're gonna see how Gemini does.
Well, we're gonna see the new video model. So
great video. There you go.
So this should be the new create a video of my character flashing the swords. I saw some demos people were doing on Reddit, and they were pretty good. Oh,
you sent me the ninja, right?
Yeah, I sent the ninja.
The ninja looks good. And so, but this is once we'll have this in Makko at one point, right?
Yeah. We'll, as soon as this is available in the API, that's what I was looking at. We'll just integrate it in, and you'll be able to use our tool set. I mean, that's one of the advantages of using Makko over having subscriptions on these other things. Is like we're always adding the newest and greatest models. We have the tool set around it, of course. So you don't. I mean, you can use. Well, you can't really use Gemini because everything will be watermarked. But you can use a lot of Google's tools or other tools, but a lot of them are very manual. So also, if I'm interested in like seeing how this does, because this is not, we do not give it create a video with my character slashing with swords. We give it like very specialized guidance based on video games and framing and all of that. So, but what I am really interested here, so like this went ahead and took it and generated like a full anime. And we got sound. Well, I mean, it's cool, but all right. So like, let me do something.
You can't use that in a game.
No,
I
we
mean,
definitely
you
can't
can use it as a
that in
cutscene
game.
in a game, but yeah.
Let me try something like this. That's so a little behind the scenes. I'll show you one of the prompts that actually gets passed. Here we go. So, oh, that's not right. Maybe this is why it's sucking. Maybe I broke it.
Oh yeah, because you said you had it walking with the swords, but it said sheathed.
Oh no, that I definitely said.
Oh.
Hold on. I'm copying the wrong thing. It's my own bad. What?
I think another interesting aspect that you were touching on too is like you can generate all these in different models. So you can come to Gemini, you can go to Anthropic and all that, and you can generate these things. But you have to have a subscription to both of them too, right?
Yeah, you gotta have subs everywhere.
Yep.
We'll have everything all under one place.
Yep.
Here, let's try this.
And then even if you got something you wanted out of this thing that you're using right now, not to be too comparative, but I am going to be comparative. A lot of the stuff that we do just makes it easier to move into an engine, right? Like you're not going to get an Aspirite format that helps with the timing of your animations and allows you to just immediately import into a game maker, Godot or Unity. And that's really, again, core to our philosophy is we want you to be able to make whatever you need to make a video game on Makko. We have a code studio. You're welcome to prototype. I'm building a full game in it. Brandon's going to build a full game in it. But we really expect the majority of our power users, really even on the code studio side, to probably be building their full game somewhere outside of Makko, at least for the near future. Just because if Jeremy says it all the time, if you're a professional developer, you probably have a stack and a workflow that you like. And we believe strongly and are proving out that even with your own stack, we can accelerate your workflows with a high level of quality.
Yep, and that's the goal. All right, I got the real prompt. That wasn't the real prompt, so we can.
And when you say the real prompt, you mean like you put something into Makko and then you have a bunch of robots in the back end that change the words the users put in and feed those to the AI, right?
Right, and it's all based on like what you actually need. And it's all things anybody can figure out in their own workflows, but it's just a matter of if you want to go manually do it, manually manage it everywhere. It's like just an aggregation of the internet of what works best with what models and what you need for video games, what looks better in video games. You think if I do, here, I want to try something.
Yeah, it's easier to click a couple buttons than have a description ready to go for each individual asset, right?
Yeah. Also, you can see here, this is a big one. It basically did the same goddamn video. Like, this is where, like, using Gemini, I would never use Gemini to do this. It's very, very not great. So here we go. Let's do it in a new conversation because, yeah, Gemini has like really weird history and has really weird video. Oh my god. All right, new chat again. You can see how I am not intentionally being dense on this either. I'm just trying to do it. And you can see how like it's so easy to mess it up. And then like say you do get a video now, it's just lost to the ether in this chat. Like you can manage it all locally. Apparently I'm at, oh no, there it goes. I was like, maybe I hit my limit already. And yeah, I mean, if you really want to be an enthusiast and you got a killer GPU, go look up Comfy UI, go look up all the image models you can run locally. I got a buddy that's working on a book and he's done all these like video trailers and he's not spent like hardly any money at all. It's like all photorealistic video or like trailers for his book. And they're all video trailers and he's like animated like scenes from his book, but he's also spent, $500 500 to 1,000 hours, like automating the workflows, figuring it out, learning tools. And what I would always say, and I definitely encourage this in our audience and everybody, if you want to put in the effort to learn things, you're always going to get better results from, learning what works for you and being able to tweak at a low level. All right. This is good. So there we go. So this is on. So this will, as soon as they light up the API, we'll take this live. The changes I've been showing you will come out soon, and as soon as it's ready to go and the API is available, so probably in the next week, this is the new model we're going to slot in. Very, very good, right? Like actually exceptional. And this is what I've been really excited about. And then ours should be ready to go. But even the walk in VO fast is dramatically better. So I copied the walk animation, not the attack animation. But even so, this is much better. For some reason, it did not lose its swords, but this is still pretty good. And then another feature, we'll just save this out and I'll show you how easy it is now that the animation actually doesn't suck. That was generated. I also kind of want to wonder if I can go back and find the. I'm going to go back and find one of the attack ones. Yeah, there we go. And so one of the, okay, let's get this going first. Oh shoot, did the freaking thing again. Oh no, am I out of videos?
The cap.
I'm running low usage. I did 3 videos. All right, so it's a great example. I'm at 90% usage. I'm on the $40 a month plan. So there you go. That's another reason it sucks to use those subscriptions. But okay, so here you go. You got your walk animation. Just right off the bat, like we can make it big. Right off the bat, it looks pretty clean. There is some green artifacting, which hopefully in the Omni gets a little bit better too. And honestly, for this, even in the higher tier VO31, that's kind of what cleans up. It's like any artifacting or low quality frames get cleaned up. But we would actually want to resample this to like 8. And then you would probably have it like 128 or 256. And then maybe speed it up a little bit. It's too fast. There you go. That looked pretty good. So, and this shows you, as the models get better, like you'll just be off to the races now. So I need to fix this. This is stretching the preview of the sprite sheet. This is not what the image actually looks like. It's just, oh, that actually looks like it. There you go. New bug. And once again, this is development, so none of this is live. This is all bugs locally. You get to see the actual. I want to see if that's like one of these settings real quick. It's auto square.
Well, yeah, this is very important for us too, just going through it, because we're full stack owners of everything that we put out.
This is the making sure that we're testing things and trying them out before we push them to the world.
That's
we're
right.
just doing it live, like Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah, that's really weird. Why is that one? Oh, I bet it's something to do with size calculation, the resizing. Well, we'll see. All right, now I'm just trying to root cause it from my notes. You guys get the little behind the scenes.
How does an engineer's mind work?
Yeah.
This is it.
Test. Very weird. What's bizarre, I'll keep fixing this later. What's bizarre is it's the preview is correct. So, and these frames are all correct, and then because that's all this is using is more. Go back to auto. Huh. All right. Well, I'll fix that later. But anyways, the animation at least doesn't suck. So there you go. And when Omni gets opened up to everybody else, it'll get, that much better. So.
Well, I love it. Well, we're coming up at the end of this segment here. We're gonna generally, just to remind everyone, we're gonna spend the first part of these calls covering what's going on with the platform. Sometimes we'll show off the little indie game that I'm working on. Sometimes we won't, and then we'll move into the first party game that we're working on with Brandon, called Rift Runners. That'll happen generally around this time, about an hour and a half into the stream every week. As a quick reminder, anyone who wants to follow along can do so on any of our social channels, at Makko AI on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can also join our Discord, where we have office hours every week. We do this multiple times a week, and we also host giveaways and contests. Right now, we're running an art contest. Last week, we had 2 people win a copy of Crimson Desert because they made some cool animations. We're giving away Crimson Desert again, I think, this week. So if you want to come in and win a new game, check out the Discord and come in and do some art. With that, we're gonna take a little bit of a 2-second break here, mostly so that I can refill my water bottle, and then we'll get back and we're gonna dive into Brandon making Rift Runners. In that time, Brandon's nodding like he does not have to refill his water bottle, and so I'm gonna pass it to Brandon to remind everyone what Rift Runners is and what we did last week, and then I'll be back and I'll kick off a new prompt for where we can go from there.
Yeah, that sounds great. So yeah, Rift Runners is our platforming game, our roguelike platforming exploration game that we've been developing using the Code Studio. So I will also bring up my screen here. And yeah, so we're kind of making this game live right here, right now. And we're going through the basic gameplay loop, trying to get a really quick thing that's kind of fun to mess around with before we start actually putting real art assets into this game. So I was able to do just a little bit of work since the last stream. It was recorded, so we can split it up and put it out however we want. But in last week's episode, we did Rift Runners here, start screen, did basic menus. We iterated over how we would start the game, different input management, and all that good stuff right there. So then we have our contract board right here. You can select different contracts, and then we have the level. And so what I was able to do real quickly is adjust the game physics that we have right here. So it's a little bit smoother. The jumping is a little bit better. It's more reactive. You stop when you lift up on the keyboard. I also added a little bit of a pressure system. In the bottom right-hand corner, we have a rift timer. And so that rift timer, so the idea here is that we're in a rift. We're in a time rift. The rift is unstable, and we need to go collect a rift key before this rift closes. So you need to go in platform, but then you have these little crystals right here. So these are the rift crystals that can give you a little bit more time if you need it. So I just ran over one and extended the timer almost back up to the maximum 60 seconds right now. And so I also added in another thing. We were talking about hazards and how this is going to be kind of an exploration platform game where you have different little hazards and puzzles that you need to do. So we have the red platforms right here. If you jump on them, they'll take away your time a little bit more or a little bit faster. So you need to be careful of those. So as you can see in the bottom, oh, I fell off the whole platform. But right now, our death thing is just restarting the run. But if you land on this, it'll take down your time like you're getting damaged. And then at the very end here, you have your rift key. So this is another thing that I added here, is that when you complete it, you have this summary screen. So you can kind of see what you got. We don't have sub rift keys in here yet, but we were talking about sub rift keys as like extra collectibles that you could go and explore and find. And then the rift crystals are those time things. So it took us 103 seconds. That's probably not how we want to measure like time for an open rift, but this is just the first iteration of that. So then you press any key right here, and you're able to go back to the contract board, click on your next contract, and you're off to the races again. So it's kind of a very, very basic game loop that we have here, where you have a way to select a level, you go through the level, you have some pressure with the timer and a way to die to restart the level, and then you have a way to complete everything.
And I'm back now. I apologize, Brandon. I saw your note as I left. Are you good? Do you need to step away for a second?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, cool. Sweet. Well, sounds like we just got a download on the core loop. I'm going to add our colleague Caesar to the stream here, and Caesar's on the stream. This is Caesar. He's as Jeremy dubbed him last week, our YouTube guy. And we are going. What we're going to do here is Caesar and I are going to furiously work on some art for the game, and then we'll walk you through what we did while we're doing it. Caesar, why don't you work on an icon for the time capsules that Brandon was just talking about. So these are little items that when you collect them, they increase the amount of time you have to close the rift. And I will work on a couple of platforms for what normal versus bad platforms might look like. And in that time, Brandon and I, we did a little pre-gaming before here and talked about what we might want to do from a development perspective on this stream. And so I think that what we decided was we were going to try to introduce some obstacles or some puzzling to this game, which is again the purpose of is to navigate through, and we really want to make this not just a platformer, but also a puzzle exploration game. So with that in mind, Brandon, I think we had a couple ideas knocking back and forth. You want to start and kick off what we were thinking, and then we can start doing some iteration and thought.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we were thinking of different crystals that we could kind of run into. And so one of the crystals would have a certain color on it, and we would have platforms with different colors on it. Obviously, when we have real art, those colors would be within that platform, like hidden a little bit better. But so then if the crystal is one color, then the only platform that you can jump on is that color. If you jump on another platform that is not that color, then I don't know, Tony, what do you think? Should we die? Should we have them like fall through, take some time away from their rift timer?
So I think yes is the answer to what you just said. And I think the way we should think about puzzles and challenges in the game are there are dimensions to each level that we can pull as levers, right? One of those dimensions is time, right? The amount of time you have to complete a level. Another of those dimensions could be health or life, right? Or like we could decide you only have one life per level. We could also decide you can die multiple times before you have to restart, right? Those are dimensions within the level. You can also do things like movement speed, right? Not the time at which time is progressing, but the speed at which the player is moving. And so I think those are the things that we should wrap. And then the idea of binary, like the challenge is on versus the challenge is not on. And so I like the idea of wrapping everything around this like crystal mechanic, right? So I think the way that a challenge should start on a level there should be like a ritual, right? In some games, the ritual is you just go to the next level and it counts down 3, 2, 1, and the level starts. I think our ritual should be that there's an actual crystal at the beginning of the level that you pick up, and that triggers the challenge, whatever that challenge might be. And then we can do all kinds of things with that crystal. If it's a time challenge, we can make it purple. If it's a platforming challenge, we can make it yellow. We can decide that there's multiple crystals and you're picking them up at different times in the level, and those are triggering different challenges. And so for our very first expression of this, I think we keep it super simple with this very very simple run left to right level. We put a purple crystal at the beginning of the level. We allow people to pick that up, and that triggers the time challenge, which makes time start ticking, the chronometer to start going or whatever. And then as you pick up more of those purple crystals, like you said, they increase your time that you're able to spend before you die on the map. And if you touch something that is colored but not colored the same as the crystal, it reduces your time. That's what I think we should focus on like nailing in this hour whatever session that we're gonna do here. And so what we have right now is the pieces for that. Right, we have a level with a timer. And I assume you didn't get there, but I assume if the timer runs out, it does the same thing as when you fall off the map. It introduces the death state. Brandon?
That's correct. Yep.
Yeah. And so now we have a level with a timer that just kind of runs as soon as the level starts, and the traps in place. Let's introduce the idea of kicking off the timer. And then, do your traps actually reduce your time right now, or is it just like that they're red and they exist?
It does reduce the timer. It reduces it at an accelerated rate, but we could change that and iterate on that to have a set amount of time go away, and then like a cooldown period, like other typical games where you get damage and you have a little bit of time to get out of that dangerous zone.
Yeah, cool. Let's plan on doing that in this session as well.
Yeah. So I do have a prompt going right here. I'm just going to continue typing in. I think you said that we wanted to have a crystal that we can pick up at the beginning. So that's kind of what I'm going to try to type around with right here.
Cool. And I am Caesar, by the way. I have a collection going already called a sub collection under the Rift Runners collection called RR Level 1 Shipping Lane Catwalk.
Okay.
That's where we should build stuff here, because I'm doing this all in the level 1 sub collection for Rift Runners.
So got some questions. You just rattled off a lot of stuff.
Wait, who did? Me?
You
Brandon?
did. Yeah,
Okay,
you just talked for 5 minutes straight. So like in reality, like how would you go about actually doing this? Because you're just
my first prompt would be add a crystal that interacts with the timing mechanic. Is how that would be where I would go from here.
Well, and did you just rattle that all off from memory? Like, could you do it again? Like, how are you tracking like what you're working on, like organization? Because I about half of what you said went right out my one ear.
That's a great question. Brandon and I talked about it earlier, and we have not committed it to a design doc yet, but we should.
Okay, so this is. So one thing that might be interesting is like to see that design process in action versus just deciding it all off stream. I think that's actually where our platform Makko takes care of the coding, and the prompt's interesting, but like the prompt ultimately comes from the design, and I think it's really interesting. What's one thing Makko does not solve today is helping brainstorm on the designs in an elegant fashion. So I think that'd be real interesting to just see how you guys think about going through that.
Yeah, for sure. My thought process was, I mean, literally it was just Tony being like, yeah, maybe we should do like a puzzle. I'm like, okay. And then he started to describe kind of a color changing system. I'm assuming that we've seen similar things in different games before. And so then I'm like, all right, how about we have like this crystal that changes to a color red. And then if it is red, then that's the platform that you can jump on. So something that is super simple. Like I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons, and we come up with a lot of puzzles in D&D there. And I've learned that the users aren't as smart as you hope they are. And so you want to make everything super, super easy. and yep, go ahead.
And so to be more formal as well, and we could do this for Rift Runners. I think it would be valuable, and it could be fun too. I don't know if Jeremy, if you were recommending that we do this on stream, we could. It could be fun. I hadn't thought about it, but I'm going to share my screen real quick as well. Let me know when you can see it. Is it? Am I doing it?
Yeah, here. I showed it. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh, wait, you just hit it.
Dang it, I broke it. Okay,
There you go.
there we go. Okay, so I'm making another little game as well called Sector Scavengers. It's a roguelike, and in this game, I'll show you real quick. I think I have a preview pulled up. It's like Slay the Spire but in space. You play cards, and as you play the cards, your character is salvaging through derelict spaceships that could at any point collapse. And your goal is to salvage as much things from them as value that are valuable as possible. And so you're playing cards like scavenge, like repair, things that again allow you to extract value from the ship without destroying it. And I found a couple of weeks ago, as I was doing playtests with people, that the game was pretty boring. I basically all you could do was scroll through a series of different backgrounds that had some different look and feel to them, and play cards and basically like do what I just said, scavenge things and then eventually extract from the ship with value. And so one of my friends that I do play tests with challenged me and said, "Hey, how could you make this like more interesting than just pressing the same button over and over again, getting loot and then extracting and not dying?" And so,
hold up. Do you have a mute in the game?
Your game audio is just so
sorry, my bad.
It's like a
Yeah.
It's like a creepy space.
Well, there's I had a little fun with some AI music the other day, and I'll unmute it real quick and I'll turn it back off. But I made all kinds of shit. I've got like 10 songs in like 3 languages. This is some Japanese trance music. I don't know if you guys can hear it. You guys hear it? I hope you guys heard that, but that's like, I love it. So anyway, my buddies challenged me. They said, "How do you make this more interesting?" And we ideated back and forth for a couple hours. And what we landed on was making every room in the spaceship an encounter, right? So if you see here on the screen, it basically says there's debris blocking the doors, and I have to play a specific card to get out of the room. I have to play the scavenge card to clear the debris to get out of the room, and if I don't, then I have to extract, and I can't go any further into the ship, and I can't get any more loot out of the ship, right? There's a whole bunch of other stuff going on, but that's the core premise of what we did. As Jeremy just said, half of you probably fell asleep when I was saying the words I just said, right? And so what I did was I actually went into Makko, and I had Makko create a markdown document for me that I went back and forth and iterated with it on. I said, "Hey, I'm a huge fan of Slay the Spire. I'm creating a game that is similar to Slay the Spire, but in space, and you're not fighting enemies, you're fighting the environment. And every time you play a card, the environment might kill you." And so with that premise in mind, help me design a system that would allow the user to feel like every time they enter a new room in the spaceship, it's a new encounter with things that are analogous to defending, to attacking, or healing, or using utility buff cards in a fantasy style game like Slay the Spire. And so what Makko then did was spit this doc out. And you can see it literally starts with like Slay the Spire is fun because, and then there's a whole bunch of words that describe that. And then ultimately what it comes down to is these axes of encounter complexity, the things that make an encounter that Brandon was just talking about, that make a Dungeons and Dragons encounter interesting. And so in my game, in Sector Scavengers, we're really focused on the constraints, the urgency, and the rewards, right? So like what is it that you can do in a room? Sometimes you can't play cards because there is a reactor that's melting down in the room, and if you play a card, it does damage every time. Sometimes you can't leave a room like I just showed you because you have to play a specific card, and then you can't move on until that happens. And there's different reward levels for each level of danger or complexity that you have to solve. So this is what I'm doing for my game. In Rift Runners, I think the analog here is, and Brandon, this might be maybe this is what we do. Maybe I'll stop sharing here. And we can go through on your prompt and spend some time, like actually it started doing it here, core loop, right? Like maybe what we say is reject this plan and say, instead of doing this work, let's create a markdown document where we create the design for our core loop, and we want to create a system where every level feels like a unique set of challenges that escalate from single challenges with different single varied challenges to multiple challenges in a single level. And we can go back and forth and repeat some of that, but I think that Jeremy, that sounds like what you were suggesting is what we do here, right?
Yeah, just like I just want to see, like, I feel like most people probably aren't super familiar with the actual design aspect, and it's great to be able to generate a game, but if you don't know what to tell it, like how do you
Yeah.
you
And
know
Jeremy and Brandon is trying to fight the war on drugs with AI. He has asked our AI to create a narc down document, which I can only assume is a document filled with the list of the narcs officers across the U.S. But no, we meant
Right.
markdown document. I'm just fucking around.
and
Um,
and I would just say one thing: I would not do that here, right? Like, so just for the audience, like, context, if we're going to do this inside Mako, context management's important. Like, you just had a completely unrelated plan, you just implemented it. I wouldn't just have it just start doing random things. So if you start a new conversation, I don't know if you have expert mode on, but expert mode is a good way to just have conversations versus a structured plan. So you can just turn expert mode on and then go to chat mode. So this is more if you just want to chat with the AI, get ideas. But if you do not know what you're doing, you'll mess up your game and make it worse. That's why it's behind a toggle. But so like now you can come in. So what's great is you already have a baseline game, so you can tell it to analyze the code base, and then if you want to start with puzzles or whatever. But you guys can figure out how you want to run the design. But usually before you start coding, and this is true whether you're using AI or anything else, you want to know what you're doing before you start coding. And people don't just magically know what they're doing. And you can leverage AI for that. You can leverage your experience for that. And ideally, you do have a good idea of what you think is fun. But what I've noticed a lot with AI is, like, it's hard to get it in a clean, descriptive way of what you have in your head, and that's where chatting with an AI can really help you get it out. And so I would say generating these reference documents is not an excuse to not read it or review them or iterate on them, but it is a good way to help formulate your thoughts. And in the future we do it, it's all on the roadmap. We want this design stuff to be first party. I have a lot of strong opinions on how the best way to do this is. But for now, you can still just use a chat window, just like you'd use ChatGPT or Claude, and then you can write the files right out into your code project. So Claude, I always use Claude as an example. If you can't tell, I use Claude all the time. So
Oh yes, for sure. Cloud code is very, very helpful.
and do we want to tell it to create the markdown file in this chat, or do we want to just talk to it here and then this is, and I'm genuinely, I don't, this isn't a leading question because I generally have it just, so my workflow is different. I'm actually going to invite Jeremy to tell me why my workflow, why I should do this instead. What I do is generally I go into planning mode and I say, write me a markdown doc with, and then all the words that Brandon's writing. And if Brandon's going to go into chat mode and have a conversation and then make a markdown doc. And so what's the difference in those workflows, and why is the other
what
one
I
better?
would do personally is so whether you're in your professional career, you're writing a paper for school or whatever, you don't just go and say, write a paper. Like, that's not what happens, right? You don't say, write a document. You go, the very first thing I've ever done in my entire career is we go to a whiteboard, we start brainstorming, we start ideating. You should use AI exactly the same way. Don't go in and say, give me the answer. That's just simply not how you get good results. You go in and you tell it what you're thinking. And then, I've generated this whole program I use locally to help with this. I have like follow-up prompts, right? So like a good thing you can do here is like give it the general premise. And then you can say something like, I saw this on LinkedIn. I laughed because most of LinkedIn is like basically AI slop these days. But there was a really good tidbit on there. I forgot who it was, but basically they said, say what you're going to say, and then tell the AI to interview you until it's like 95% confident it knows what you want, right? And so, and what that'll do is it'll start asking, you'll answer, it'll refine to it, and you can tell it what the goal is. You can say, hey, the goal, and I wouldn't just keep appending at the end. I didn't actually catch what you wrote, Brandon, but like, I oftentimes start with context that's like, hey, the goal is that we want to write a game design doc on this portion of the game. Of course, you really don't want God documents. You don't want documents that encompass every possible thing that you could possibly have. It's bad for humans. It's bad for AI. There will be people that tell you it's good for AI. It is not good for AI. You want small composable chunks.
Yeah, that's that's what I was gonna say. Is actually, if you look at that thing I shared, if you saw on that thing I shared earlier, I actually have like 3 or 4 of these docs, and I actually usually delete them. I need to delete one or at least 2 of those 3 that I have, but they're all contained features. Like the one I just showed you is literally the feature doc for this thing called encounters, and it only talks about like an encounter is a thing that happens in this specific context, and it has these specific dimensions. And then once I'm done building encounters, I'll just delete that doc.
Yeah, and that's good. And there's kind of two kind of documents, and this is probably very controversial in the software world. There's your spec file up front. I believe spec files are worthless after you've implemented them. That's what the controversial thing. A lot of people will swear up and down spec files are God, and you need your architecture documents and everything forever. I call bullshit. And then there's your look back reference file. So like what did you plan to build? What did you actually build? Those are almost always 2 different things, because a big part of games, especially, is you need to find the fun. You're not just sitting around going, hey, I got this spec file, I implemented it. Oh, I made $1,000 on Steam. Sorry, that's not how it is. You did a thing, you implemented it, you can play it, it looks beautiful, it looks great. It's not fun. Nobody wants to touch it, right?
And that's exactly what was happening with my game. Like it wasn't beautiful yet, but I had this thing that like functioned, right? Like literally it's a card game. It deals the cards. I have 150 cards. You can play them. And I got my buddies to play it for like 30 minutes, and they're like, dude, this is incredibly boring. And then we spent 2 hours that night talking about why it was boring.
Yeah. And so that's just kind of like why this process is important, and you don't want to skip it. And we will eventually build this in, like, because the hard thing is now you got to know, you got to understand. We'll do some YouTube videos, educate, but eventually we just want tooling around this, because like these sort of workflows, like the AI can do a lot of cool stuff, but if you don't know how to leverage it to do the cool stuff, it doesn't matter.
And yeah, let's dive. So the AI came back here and it asked us 5 questions.
Yep.
And so like Jeremy or Brandon, like walk us through like, why is it asking this
well,
and why is it? Yeah.
Can we even review what you put in? Because like I think you just typed some stuff. I have no idea what you typed.
Yeah, for sure. So I just told it to analyze the code base to understand the gameplay of this game that we're on right now. And so I wanted to start with the color matching puzzle, where we have crystals that change colors, and they have, so just basically describing the game there. And then what are some of the other puzzles that we can add to the game? What are some of the games that we can get inspiration from? And then interviewing to your 95% confident in the ask. I did not put in, probably should have put in what the goal of this was. And so this is an ideation goal. So,
well,
I mean,
good news is that's not strictly required. I will talk to Claude for an hour, brainstorming, arguing, whatever, and then at the very end I'll say, hey, go ahead and make me a markdown file. So I don't think that's like super critical. It just, all right. So let's scroll down here and let's go through what it said. So I'm interested in. So here's the other thing is, like, I know people don't want to read, they don't want to spend time, they just want to go. But like, it's always good to read what the AI is telling you. So like existing gameplay, like hopefully I got this right. But if it didn't get this right, like we need to correct it, right? So it sounds really silly, but like AI just sometimes
100%. I'm laughing because we have a segment that we put out earlier or from last week where you were like, AI is going to do exactly what you tell it to do, and so if it thinks you told it to do something else, you got to make sure that it knows.
Yeah. It's just a constant reminder. It's one of the biggest traps AI is people they think it's just going to read its mind and go. So, okay. So like I think the description was mostly correct. Your new task, a color matching puzzle layer where the player active crystal changes color and only same color platform. So that seems right. So now we're going through the questions. So like walk us through your thought process. What is it asking? Why are you answering the way you are?
Yeah. So who controls the color change? Like, it's just asking basic gameplay mechanics for this specific puzzle, and then we can get into like other puzzles after this too, once it understands our initial ask for the puzzle. And so, yeah, we did want the color to just change. I'm saying every 5 seconds here, because it's trying to make suggestions on what it thinks it could do. Like, do we want a button on the keyboard that we can press to have the crystal change colors? But no, we don't want that. We want it to be more of a time-based puzzle for this particular puzzle. And then, is it replacing a normal platform, or is it layered on top? So I think that like all the gray platforms should still be safe, while we have these additional platforms that can be used as a part of the puzzle. And maybe we can just put the rift key to the side of that too. And that way too, like when we get deeper into our game development, we can potentially, like, this is my goal. I don't know if AI is picking up on it. Probably not, because we need to be very explicit. But we should be able to mix and match these puzzles into other levels too. But that's something that we can focus on later. And we just want to get a bunch of different puzzle ideas right now. And then what's the intended difficulty and pacing? So that's the one that I just completed here. So it'll start when you collect the color crystal. And that's kind of what we talked about earlier. And then I want it to be easy. And then we can talk about different difficulties for other types of puzzles too. But this one, just as a proof of concept, fun thing, we can make it kind of easy. So then the next one here is like, how many colors are in play? I'm just going to say 3 to keep it easy. And then I'm like, you can just say 3, but what we were talking about last week too is you want to be more explicit, because AI will then try to interpret what you're saying and use more tokens to do all that. So I'm going to say 3 colors,
and it might pick one of them to be like fuchsia on a fuchsia background.
That's right.
Yeah, and what you always, this is true in any software, you always want to start small and expand. Like, you don't want to start with 25 colors and then you're sitting there fighting, you don't know if this is working or not. You start with 2 or 3, and then once you have 2 or 3, then you do a task to extend to like the another 10 colors you want, right?
Yep. So it's asking if this will go into the other contracts, or just or if we want to create a new contract with the puzzle. I'm just going to have it go into the existing contract, but I'm also going to clarify that we want this puzzle at the end of the level before we can collect the main rift key.
Tony, you need to turn your system sound off from going through your stuff. Probably because you got OBS and you're just routing everything through.
Oh yeah. Wait, what do you hear?
Oh, Discord.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I was just typing back to.
What?
Yeah. Son of a biscuit.
Son of a biscuit.
So while Brandon's doing that, I will go ahead and flag what you were hearing my ping in Discord about. As a reminder to anyone tuning in, if you ever have any questions about how to use Makko, feel free to pop into our Discord. We have office hours every week. We do this every week. If you were in Discord right now asking questions, Dragoon or Caesar or Kyle or some of the folks off screen would be feeding them to us. And we run contests every week. We give away free video games. Last week we gave out Crimson Tide. Great movie if you're an old person. Last week we gave out Crimson Desert. This week, surprise, we're giving out more Crimson Desert. Next week, we'll probably pick a different game. I think Forza just came out, so we'll pick usually whatever the zeitgeist is. And you just come and participate in contests. That last week, it was make a character animation. This week, it's make a background. Next week, we'll probably do like prototype a game, make something like what you see on the screen here for people to run around in. But every week, we do something cool and we give away video games. So if you're interested in winning something and making some cool stuff, you don't have to pay anything as well. You can use our free trial. And I think everyone who won last week was a free trial user. So that's our Discord. It's discord.gg/Makko AI. Please drop by and say hey whenever. And then Brandon, did you submit the task here? Is it going now?
It's going. Yep. So I answered the 5 questions and I gave it a little piece of additional context on the goal, and we'll see.
So while it's doing that, is we don't. It's not going to take that much time. Look at what I got cooking up over here. You see this?
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, no, I didn't put it on the stream.
No, I
Oh,
did.
wait, no, you did. Dang it. Okay, cool. I think this is my favorite one right here. I think what I'm going to do is I want this. I love this little gas fart here. And but I also think I like the, whatever you call this, the dock light. And so I'm going to see if I can put a docking light on one of the corners of the platform. And then on this one, I'm going to say, add a pipe spitting out gas. And you can see.
Question: Is your intention to use these directly in game?
It is, yeah.
So, you notice how your images are different angles, like the platforms are different angles.
Yeah. Like this is like tilted towards the screen, whereas this is like flat, 90 degrees, or 90 degree flat.
Yeah, something that just like with the cards. So we want to expand our tile set builder and all that stuff in the future, but something just like you might actually want to like create a template for a tile that's like plain so that they all generate like exactly, how you do with your cards where it's like you got a card template.
Yeah.
And then you use it as a reference for each tile size. Because like what's going to happen here is like you're going to put this in the game and they're going to look wildly different angles and it's going to look wonky and
that's smart.
Yeah, I think also we want to make sure that they're kind of tileable, and so like you have that little like gas fart, as you called it, like that'll look weird if we have 20 in a row. So then we would using that template that we're trying to generate.
Well, yeah, but I would.
Yeah, that would be like a every 10th tile thing or something.
Yeah,
like that.
exactly. Yeah. Okay. I like that. So let me do this. I'm actually just going to tell it that. Give me a platform tile template. Needs to be plain enough to be tileable, like a palindrome, and viewable from the side at a 90-degree flat angle horizontally. Let's see what happens here, boys.
Also, don't hit generate. Tell it you said it was a template, and say this won't directly be used in the game, but used for other, or used for the actual tile as a template for the tile generation. I know you said give me a platform tile template, but
yeah. Telling it what that means, like what a template is.
Then I would do it on like medium or something, just so low is really dumb, so it's like doesn't follow prompts super.
Don't have to encourage me to spend more credits.
Yeah.
All right, Brandon, let's switch back over to you and see what we got cooking on the planning side.
Yeah, that sounds good. So, oh yeah, just completed. So that's awesome.
Look at that. I mean, it's like the AI knew what was going on. It's like it was listening.
I know. Yeah, one thing that we might want to call out too is in this particular case, like we had our model just kind of stall, and then I was able to chat again. And whenever you see that, you can just click or type in continue, and it'll continue on that. We do have a YouTube video that Caesar made, kind of describing something like this. And do we have a help article on this too? We might, or blog post.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yep. But all you need to do is type in continue, and then it just picked up where it left off. So I actually haven't read through this yet.
Oh, look at this. It even named it the Chroma Gate color matching puzzle.
That's
so yeah,
right.
It looks like it re-summarized what we're doing. So again, Jeremy, sorry, stay up real quick, Brandon.
Yep.
Like Jeremy said, we should just make sure it's right? We're building a multi-contract platformer. We're tight. Jump and run gameplay is punctuated by the terminal puzzles, a final gauntlet that gates the rift key. So like I would actually, this is a great example. I would actually correct it in the first like little bit there. Like it's actually a platformer, a puzzle platformer. Like it's calling it a multi-contract platformer because we're using the word contract, but like I think it's probably assuming or making up what the word contract means in its own mind. So I would correct it and say it's, you know, this is a puzzle platformer. And then the other thing I would say is it's saying that the puzzles are terminal puzzles, like at the end of the level, and that's actually the opposite of what we're saying. Like we want to start the puzzle ideally at the beginning of the level, and then maybe there's multiple that happen throughout the level. And so I think that I think the rest of all the stuff it said is right, but I think those core pieces are actually really important that we should correct. And Jeremy, if you think I'm wrong and I'm misunderstanding the way you're explaining how we should correct this thing when it tells us summaries, let me know.
No, yeah, I mean that seems good to me.
Yeah, and the reason why I said that is because it interviewed me, and I said that we wanted this puzzle to be before the end when you pick the rift key up, and so that's probably why it made that. And so we can correct our own mistakes too, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And then it looks like it got the understanding of the color gating, like kind of again, right, except for that first piece. Like it's not before the final area, it's just at the beginning. But then after collecting it, the player enters a 3-color cycle, platforms appear. They're only safe if they're the same color. There are normal gray platforms, you know, I guess, yeah, like fine to call it gray now because it's actually what it's drawing here.
Yep.
And it's asking, like, should it be a drain or a hazard bounce? I think we should tell it, like, let's make it a rift timer drain.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, I think the making it easy sounds right. But then there's a bunch of other stuff. I mean, we're not even a quarter down the scroll here. I wonder what else it's got for us.
Here, let me scroll down a little bit so we can start on that. Yep. Well, so it's like blink of solid transparent on a fixed rhythm. Yeah. Oh, interesting. So the platform itself is blinking. Is that what I'm reading here? So that's probably not what we want, right? We want like certain platforms to be solid colors that won't damage you, right? Or do we? Okay. Yeah.
Well, so sorry. That's the way I interpreted the original ask of the puzzle. I think again, going back to what we were talking about before, as we design what an encounter and what a puzzle is, I would view changing colors as like an element or a variable that we could feed into some puzzle builder system that is like, okay, you can have puzzles that are color based, meaning if you do something on one color, it has an effect, and then you can have puzzles that also change the color of the thing that you're interacting with so that other effect happens differently.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
And then it looks like it's like just got some suggestions for other things that we could do. I like the gravity inversion. I like the phase. I like the echo shadow case. I didn't read a polarity magnet, but based on what it sounds like, it sounds fun. Yeah, player picks up a test.
Well, what's cool here is that it read through our game code, right? Because every time you click the new conversation, it loses all of its context. And so it read through our game code, picked up that this is a time rift type of game just based off of the code and comments that it already generated in our code base. And it was able to recommend these puzzles, which to me sound a lot like a rift in time style puzzle. You got gravity changes, polarity magnet changes.
Yeah. It's like it's got the fiction based on the code base.
Yep.
Which is also going to be the name of my next band, fiction based code. Jeremy hated that joke so much that he just left. Oh, sorry. Did you mean to leave, Jeremy? Sorry. He did. He meant to leave. Whoops.
He needed to come back, make eye contact with you.
No, because I put him back. I thought it was a mistake, and I put him back on screen by accident. Not by accident. I did it on purpose. And then I was like, oh shit, maybe he meant to be off screen.
Yeah.
Oh, especially now that I see what's happening off screen.
I have a question here for you guys. How do you, because I know you guys, at the beginning of the prompt, we asked Makko to go ahead and read the code to understand the context of it. How do you guys balance, say like 2-3 weeks from now when we're working on something else, all those comments that it makes on the code? How do you make sure that those continue to get updated as features, as things get added, as new
I tell it.
platforms, as new mechanics? Do you just tell it?
Every couple of days I tell my code to go through and update any comments and code chunks that are either dead, unused, or no longer relevant, and then I hope that it does that. But it hasn't not yet. But I'll tell you, like I did it on Sunday, and then I asked it to tell me what files to delete, and it had me delete like 50 files, right? So like it was, I've got a 430 file game right now, and it had me bring it down to 500 or 380 for over the course of an hour or so.
Do you think that this is where like a README document that gets updated or centralized and just constantly updated as things get done comes in play, or is that something that doesn't really apply to game development as it does with other kinds of development?
I think that's what Jeremy was talking about. Like having a God document in this case is not super helpful, and you want to manage it like a feature by feature basis and keeping your code clean. I think is what he would say. He's gonna keep come back, but
Yeah,
I think
so,
Brandon's an engineer
like
too.
that's what we have in our current code base too. It's not a God document, but we do have documentation about how different things work. And so sometimes you do need to be intentional to make sure that they're updated. But most of the time, AI does use and analyze everything in your code base that's related to the thing that you're trying to talk about or change. And it reads that, and that's how it determines its outcome and what its result. And so if you do have a piece of documentation in your code base that is incorrect, there is a chance that it will read that and give you a result that you're not expecting. And so like that is important to keep your code base up to date. So that's good that Tony goes in and updates his README files and his Markdown files in his code base every now and then to make sure that everything's up to date. Hopefully it'll just do that in the plan, but if it doesn't, then it's good to update it.
Yeah, I mean, I did it. I started doing it because of exactly what Caesar was talking about. Like I made an update at one point, and it like resummoned a bunch of things that I had changed in the game like a month ago, and I was like, oh no, like this is like I'm referencing buttons that don't exist anymore and cards that don't exist anymore in various places. It added a tutorial back, and so we have a really great tool. That little rewind tool that's first or second from the bottom there on the screen allows you to basically go back in time and reset any mistakes that you've made. I use this a lot. I have a lot more manual saves probably than Brandon does because I'm a lot less confident in my ability to fix things once they break. And so I generally have manual saves that are titled things like "Thank God" or "Oh wow, it works," which are probably not helpful for anyone else. But I know that "Oh wow, it works" is my best build that I can always go back to.
Do you have an "Oh wow, it works" 3 and 4 and 5?
It's so funny that you say that. And yeah, I had just deleted "Oh wow, it works" 3 because it didn't work very well.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and one cool thing to point out too is that these automatic saves at the top here, they happen every time you start a new plan. And so if you're implementing your plan and it breaks your entire game, don't worry. We automatically saved your code from before that. Well, cool. All right, so we have a new understanding based off of our corrections that we made to it.
Yeah,
I like that. It's a clear picture now. Cool. And then I did ask it to re-ask its questions afterwards because I wanted to make sure I had a clear understanding of our original puzzle first. And so here are the questions about other mechanics.
Solid bit draining. So it's asking us if when you land on a color that is not the correct color, do you fall through and die, or do you land on it and it drains some element? In this case, it's going to be time, and so it's solid bit draining. And then it's asking, does the color check happen continuously while standing or only on landing? Oh, so like, is it a one-time damage or is it lava or is it a spike? Basically, is what it's asking. I think we want it to be a spike. You land on it, it does one-time drain damage, and then you are able to get off of it without doing more unless you just stay on it.
Yeah.
And then, is there any player control over the cycle? No.
Is there a player
I would
control?
I would say not
Oh,
in
yeah.
this. I would say not in this puzzle, but we should. But future puzzles will be an element of future puzzles. Because this is,
Yeah.
again, they're not. It's not making the puzzle here. It's we're designing the puzzle system.
Yep. Cool. So I'm just going to ask it to put all this in a markdown file now. I guess, I mean, yeah, let's just answer it. Then we can do that later.
So the whole point of saying interview me till you know is it'll keep going until it's confident it understands you. That's the whole point of that prompt.
Yep.
So I wouldn't just say go to the markdown file. If it's still clarifying, it means it's unclear on something.
Yeah. Cool. So just think about that for a little bit.
Yeah, let's go back and look at some art because I've got some cool stuff cooking here. Caesar, are you baking up some art over there as well?
No, I wanted to ask a little bit more about what kind of art I should be making. I know we talked about the kind of crystals, but if you guys want to give me a little bit more direction as to.
Oh, so the game, the puzzles are going to kick off with a crystal that you pick up. Think of it like a time crystal, and so we should just make some variations of that we can pick up. And what I think would be cool is if you did them as props and then try to make one as a character and just see if you can get a crystal character that like say no humanoid, no character, just a crystal floating, and see what happens.
Okay, let me start cooking those up.
And then while he's doing that, I'm also sharing this tab twice apparently.
Yep, you're sharing it twice.
Got it.
Well, Brandon's like so when you're ideating like this, it doesn't take very long. So we probably don't want to be this ADD about jumping to another. It's a lot of just ADD going on right now.
Yeah, so I'm just reading through the plan. And so it has a pretty good understanding of our chroma style puzzle from what I've read so far, the easy difficulty profile, and then it has escalating puzzle concepts here. Oh, just skip medium, just went straight to hard to extreme. Wow.
It doesn't believe in medium.
No medium.
No. Cool. So I mean, these sound like good concepts that we can ideate on when we want to implement them.
Yeah, and also remember, like, you're gonna get it in and be like, oh, I don't like this. Just a reminder for also, I don't know why you like using such a small text box. It's like I always when you're watching people, I always get the fun like, why would you guys do it this way? So yeah, so then there's just two more. It's pretty confident. So then I think you're good to move on to the that markdown. So what you want to do for the markdown to make it easy is basically say, okay, give me a markdown file describing the spec and then break it into phases and give me prompts to run in a plan mode with these phases or something like that, right? Because and I would tell it where to make the markdown file, right? So I would say make a markdown file at docs / whatever this feature is called.
Oh yeah, actually, I realized I don't know if it's a bug or if people should just know to do that. But if you don't say that, it'll actually create the markdown file in a temporary file, and it won't actually save it unless you tell it to put it in a docs folder. I had that happen the other day. I created it in a /Makko temporary folder, and then when I started a new conversation, my markdown file was gone. It was crazy. It made me sad.
Oh
yeah, anything written to the Makko folder that's like private space that the AI uses for context. So anything written in there will be wiped away next conversation. So don't write it there.
There we go. Now it's going to generate us a good markdown file.
So one thing that is very bad is you told it to give you a single prompt. You should let it decide how it should phase it out, because now it's going to give you a God prompt and it's either going to be everything or nothing.
Yeah.
So you should never tell it, give me a single prompt to do everything.
Yeah, usually what I say is break it into a phase checklist that I can with prompts that I can execute and test before moving on to the next phase. That because then it also makes it so like each phase doesn't rely on the previous like the next one in order to be tested. That's why I found out if I didn't tell it that specifically, I get to like phase 3 and I'd be like, oh, I actually have to do phase 4 and 5 before I can even test phase 3.
Yeah. Product idea. I'm going to share my screen real quick. So I built, I think some of you have seen this, ArcForge, my own little tool set.
yeah.
One thing I do here. You guys click on my screen. It's not working for me.
I know. I'm trying. I have to scroll down. Sorry, I had to find it. I got it. Yeah, you're on.
Okay. So one thing I do here is, so this is just like Claude Code thing. So I have these like right click quick prompts. So like, for example, for discovery, I have interview me about the current task or change, blah, 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 blah. Cause like one thing that's like kind of shitty about AI, is you actually do like the user prompts matter more than anything else. It's shitty because you can't just like steamroll away the user dumbness if a user doesn't know how to ask or asks the wrong thing. So like we could in the Makko do the same sort of thing where, you know, this is kind of like quick actions, except not, it's like quick actions for in the thing, right? So like
quick planning actions.
Well, it's more like they're quick prompts, but so instead of like going through a whole workflow with a single prompt, it'd be like you could come in and say, not those, but you know, not write tests, but explain the code, document it. But we could do it for like planning things, right? So this is not really planning things. This is like my dev workflows. But so like. Yeah, so like my plan rubric, this is all baked. This sort of stuff's baked into Makko, but like because I'm using Claude Code and I wanted to do a very specific thing, I have this like before finalizing, make sure all these things are good. This pasted one text is a bug. Hilarious. I don't know if that. Anyways, it's an idea. So like all these prompts we're talking about now, we could come in and actually make them. Yeah, templatize them so users don't.
I mean, I think
have to know them.
I think that would answer a lot of like Caesar always asks, not because Caesar's the only one who has this question, but because Caesar's the one who's brave enough to ask it frequently. Like how, if I wasn't an engineer, how would I know that? And I think what you just said is a good answer to that, Jeremy.
Yeah, and then you still got to know to like.
You have to know to ask the
things.
question.
Yeah.
We have to know to ask a question. I think maybe that's the framing for it, is like questions you should ask, or like things you should like. It's not just like a list of prompts. It's like things you should do before you do Y, right?
Yeah. Just like common questions, just like really, or common. I mean, it'd be like, because like the thing is, if you wanted to write out this phase prompting thing, like even Brandon was like, write me a single prompt. Well, you should never ever do that, right? So like,
well, in my mind it was make a prompt per, but I forgot the per part.
Well, it's a great example. So even if your brain is saying something, that's not what you said, right? So that's where.
Yep.
The question would be is like, you know, we could do it in expert mode, not plan mode or whatever. Because for plan mode, it's not near as relevant. Because plan mode is for like spending a lot of time thinking and planning before you do something. So, but for expert mode, it might be a useful feature.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and so here we have our phases for our first puzzle, and it did create a prompt per phase right here. And so I'm just going to create a new plan mode and get this started.
Tony, I got some props if you want to check them out. Yeah, I think if you refresh your screen where you were working at, you should be able to see them on your end.
Ooh. Oh. Yeah. Man, these are good.
Do you want to share them?
Yeah. 1 second. Let me know if you can see the screen. I like this guy. I like this guy a lot.
Oh yeah, that right one. That one's pretty good.
Oh wait, and is this so? This is the new. Yeah. So like, I'm gonna save it as a reference. But then what happens if I save this as a character, Brandon?
I mean, you can create a front, side, and back profile reference image. So we'll see, because I think we still need a head, body, and like lower like leg area for characters.
Because like I've made debris piles that have no legs, right? That are characters, and they bob up and down in my game.
Yeah.
But I had to regenerate a few times because my debris piles had arms and legs at one point as well. They were great little debris pile people.
But I mean, this is exactly what Jeremy was demoing in the beginning too. Is like once we get the animation system up and running, you can animate more than just characters.
Yeah. And you can see, I know you can see in the background here, I was working on platforms. I'm going to save out a template of one of these at one point, but I'm trying to get it to where it leaves some like transparent area in the middle of the platform, and we can use that to like the game can color it in there. Ooh, look at this. That's perfect, actually. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Idle, hovering in 0 gravity, sparks flying around the object. We're doing complex. Why are we doing complex? I like pressing that button, and better is better than worse. And as Jeremy was saying, like let's do idle float as well. Let's do more than one, just in case we don't like the first one. Floating idly, front facing view, sparks, or let's call it motes of light circling. And then are you still thinking over there on the code side, Brandon?
Yeah, it's reviewing the plan right now. Almost done.
All right.
I had a question here, just based on like everything that we've talked about so far. Would you guys say that there's a wrong or right way to approach game development, especially in this new age of, or this new era of AI assisted development? Like, because I've always thought of like, oh, if you want to start with the art, go ahead and start with the art. If you want to start by designing the final boss, go ahead and start by designing the final boss. But maybe the right or wrong way is not the right way to think about it, but are there better ways or more time consuming ways? Or how do you guys see that problem of like, hey, I've never designed a game in my life. I want to try it today, but I don't know what the right pathway is to do it. And I think from what we see is that there isn't really a lot of information out there for people to know, like, hey, maybe this is the fastest way to do it or the proper way to do it. How do you guys see that changing in this in the short term?
Well, I think workflows will be automated and accelerated with AI, but fundamentally, the way you need to think about software, games or not, has not changed. And this is it's definitely one thing where CEOs are lying to people. Like it is the same it's always been. Like you need to think through the same things, you need to find the fun the same way, you need to QA the same way, you need to iterate the same way. It's a complete lie that you can just give any AI system in the world like this massive spec file and it'll just implement it how you want it to. First of all, if you generate a big spec file, it's probably an AI generating that spec file. You probably didn't even look at it. So like you're basically trusting an AI to generate a file that most likely isn't even consistent with itself, and then you're trying to implement that inconsistent file. And so like smaller iterable changes are always going to be better. That's always been true in software. And when it comes to game design, and am not an expert on game design workflows, but like it's a similar thing. Like you need to find a workflow that works for you. And in software, everybody has a slightly different workflow, but the consistent thing is people build step by step, piece by piece, brick by brick, right? Like you're not just appearing on a final website.
Well, that's exactly how it works at Electronic Arts or Amazon too, where you have designers or product managers coming up to you with one new feature at a time that you then implement. And so that wouldn't change at all. It's just you don't have to be that designer. You can ideate with Claude.
And I would say, like, if you truly know nothing, if you're like off the streets, you've not worked in the space, you've never been around people that make games, you just play them and you like them a lot. There are a lot of resources out there to help understand what these guys mean when they say like documentation, or if you hear or read the word like game design doc and like that seems really intimidating. Like you probably should have one though. You probably should have some sort of like, it doesn't have to be a quote unquote GDD in the formal sense, like a game design doc, but some sort of doc that governs like what the game is and how it plays and what the objectives are when you're playing. Like stuff like that is important. And if you don't know how to do any of that, you've never seen any of that, you don't know where to start, you're like, oh my god, even the idea of doing that without an AI to give me the format, which as Jeremy just pointed out could be fraught with danger if you get something back and you're like, oh, this is exactly what I need, and it turns out that like it's not, and you don't know how to recognize that it's not what you need. I would recommend, there are a number of podcasts and blogs that you can follow out there that are great. I'm friends with a guy named Justin Gary. Caesar, Justin. He has a podcast and a Substack called Think Like a Game Designer. He was a longtime Magic the Gathering professional player who's made a couple of long-running card games that have done really well. Some that have not done really well. Some have done really well. But he publishes every week a Think Like a Game Designer blog post and podcast. There's a guy named Jordan Wiseman. He's the creator of the Shadowrun series. He also has created a couple of top-down isometric strategy-based games that have been really popular. He does a podcast and a game design kind of blog. It's not really a blog, but he publishes white papers and stuff. So those are two that I would look at. And then the other thing that I would encourage anyone to look at is like if you go to YouTube and you literally just search in YouTube like design my game with me or live designing my game, you'll see indie developers that are like doing this, right? And your mileage may vary. You probably use your own judgment on if the person looks like me versus Jeremy. You probably want to listen to the person who looks like Jeremy versus me. But that's I think those are good resources for people who hear this and they're like, I don't even know where to start. I would start with like someone who's shipped a game before, that people have played and enjoyed, that now publishes content about how to ship games.
Yeah.
Well, and you don't have to have, like when you start out drawing or you start out doing coding or anything, you don't have to have some big architecture or plan of where you're going. But in almost everything, whether you're writing music, whether you're drawing, whether you're coding, any creative endeavor, you start very small and you just keep adding to it. And the way most people learn to program is they don't go through all these architecture courses and whatnot. They just like literally step by step learn, keep adding. And their first few programs are terrible. And not even their first few, the first like few hundred are terrible. Same thing with art, right? Like it's over and over and over and over and over again. Now what AI lets you do is it lets you get through your iterations dramatically faster, right? So you can get to your first 100 much faster, but it is still start small, keep building. And once you get through some of those small things and then start over, that's also where you'll learn a lot of things. And then if you go watch those YouTube videos, then you'll learn a ton more, right? So.
Yeah, AI as an accelerator is absolutely true too. Because like even what we just did in chat with the different puzzles, like if we did that at a larger company without AI, it would be a lot of iteration time. You'd have to like start the meeting with them if they're available and then go back and forth with your designer and all that. And then they'd have to revise their design document and then send that over. So in a good world, that would take like a day. And we were able to do it in like 20 minutes. This animation is looking pretty slick. One question I have for like our animated props, do we want them to be like 3D based? Or do we want like, because this one's like rotating and stuff, like showing that it's 3D, or do we want our props to be more like 2D and just like bounce up and down and be like more of like billboard style? You're muted.
Well, as we just highlighted, I think that we should see what that looks like and iterate live on that. Like, I think we should make this little guy who's rotating back and forth. He's about to be rotating in 360 degrees and bobbing up and down, and put him next to just a little pure 2D guy that bobs up and down, and see what happens.
Sounds good.
Because like what I'll do is I'll make this guy and we can share it over, and then for the one that's I'm clicking on my stream. I don't know. Oops. And then for the other one, I'll just make a 2D prop. I won't make it a character. I'll make it an actual prop, and we can just tell Makko to make it bob up and down.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's a good way to do it. Like your game engine can control very basic like translations, like movements like that.
That's what I do with the cards, right? I've got my cards and they just bob up and down like they're in 0G. Yeah, this is great. Okay, I'm gonna export this giant sprite sheet. It's not that bad. Not that bad. 2048 by 2048. I'll take it. Okay, that's baked. I'll save it out as a manifest so we can toss it in the game and see what it looks like, and then I'll bake a 2D one as well. Time crystal, manifest, TC core, create manifest, align it. We do not want it to be 1. We're going to make it 0.5, and we'll make it so it's sitting right on top of its anchor. We'll save.
So what are you doing right here?
What am I doing? Where?
You're just you're aligning your animation, right?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I just I just flew through that. I apologize. So once you create an animation in our tool and save it out as a sprite sheet, you're going to get a couple of things. Like Jeremy said, you're going to get, if you just want to take this with you and not use it in Makko, because you're building your game on Godot or Game Maker, you can just hit this download button, and that's going to give you a zip that has both the sprite sheet here and the JSON that, like Jeremy was saying, informs things like the frames and the timing and whatnot. If you are going to use it in Makko to prototype or make a game like we're doing, then you want to go back to your character here. And actually, I think all of this is changing soon, but right now you want to go back to your character here and save a manifest, which creates like the object for Makko to know what the JSON is and what the sprite sheet is. You click on your alignment tool, and this allows us to, if I had more than one animation, make them all the same size and make it so that they were all on the same plane. So like their bottom is at the same anchor point. And what I did was I moved this thing so its center of the object and the center of its base were on the anchor, and then I scaled it down from its normal size to half its size, so that when it puts it in the game, it's 65 by 65 pixels instead of whatever 256 by or 128 by 128. And then what Brandon can do when you can show him this when put it in the game, Brandon can then take this manifest. It shows up as a character in our assets library. Click a button and then tell Makko, I have added this character, the time crystal character, to a manifest. Please play the time crystal idle float animation at the when it's floating and not collected by the character, and that'll put it in the game.
Yeah, definitely. And especially if you're going through Makko and aligning everything, bringing this into a game that you're making in Makko, like changing the scale is super easy, because I think you can go in and you can describe that too in the chat, but it'll just look at the manifest, look at the values that you saved in there, and then translate that into the game. So it's more of like a live editor that you can do without AI chat, like a configuration that you can update until you're happy with what you have.
And then I added it as a I added the thing I just did as a prop as well, Brandon. So I'll pass it back over to you and share your screen here. And oh, never mind, it's still going. Your screen found a bug, so we'll come back to mine. I lied. And so okay, so I got those two props saved out, and then I was building out these platforms, which I think this is probably the closest one so far. I'm gonna do it one more time and just see what it does. I changed this to be front facing. I had it as side on. Oh, maybe I didn't. I thought I had it as side on one of the ones before, but and then I oh no, I didn't. So this is gonna be fun, guys. I didn't select any reference images on this last one, so it's gonna generate something interesting that'll probably not look like it belongs in our universe. But this is the one I saved out that I think we can try to use in game. And what I think we do, Brandon, is we tell Makko to make like this area filled in with the color, with the appropriate color, and then we can that can be like what flashes and tells the character what they're jumping on and not.
Oh yeah, for sure. And so like there's a couple different ways that we can approach this. So we can approach it in our game code itself to fill in some stuff, or we can create specific filler assets, which I would probably recommend doing that use that image as a reference and fills it perfectly, hopefully. Ooh. And then save that out as a prop that we can then switch between for the color of the platform. Or you can just generate a whole new prop using that as a reference. You can iterate on that image and save each iteration out.
So like you mean I've done that before with some of my backgrounds. You mean so like fill this with a yellow fill in the transparent area, for example.
Where's the
I like
where's the
too.
Transparent area in that other one? I don't see anything.
Yeah.
I see
the center.
I could have called it the center hole, I guess.
Yeah, hopefully it figures it out. But that's a good example of like you're just saying the wrong thing, so it could confuse it.
Yeah. No, you're right.
So I'm also go up to your transparent glass up here.
I love these guys.
Yeah, I'm save out that one on the right as a prop. I'm like really interested. Yeah. This is one thing that if you actually want to do this, so the way our system actually works is green screens are cleaned up programmatically, so it's generally the best quality because you don't have to use AI to clean it up. But sometimes like transparent items, so go look at that.
Yeah, see if it jacked it up.
Yeah. Not good. What are you doing?
Just go back to your collection.
Oh,
why are you?
This is just how, guys. This is just how I navigate. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just go. Yeah, just go out to the collection. You saved it out.
That works.
So see how it's a green tint.
Yeah,
and that's because it's a green background. So if you really want to get rid of that green tint, you're gonna have to just add to your prompt to generate it with this one. I would do a white background since it's transparent.
So I'm gonna do that, but I'm also gonna say I think it looks good with the green tint.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to point out because like and you can control the background. There's like our own rules. Please click like every button except the one you need to.
So like, I wonder, can I iterate on it too? Can I do like put this on a white background?
Yeah, I would assume so. It's a good way to do it.
Let's see what this did. Let's see what this did. Oh, nothing. It said, oh wait, no, look at that. It knew. Look at that. You guys had no faith in the robot. I had all the faith in the robot.
This is what's fun about AI. It's like we built the product. We still don't know what it's going to do.
What it's going to do, right? I love it. And like, look, this is perfect, dude. Like, yeah, you could totally say like trade this out when it's yellow. And actually, like
it's yellow,
you could make it blink. Oh my God, Caesar.
Dude, gun to my head, I'm gonna tell you that's green.
That's incredible.
Yeah, because I can't tell the difference between the outside color and the inside one. How are you guys gonna handle color deficiency in your game?
They don't get to make games.
Well, AI can see color, and so it'll still perform how you want. But yeah, you can prompt it to be the more accessible colors.
Brandon had the much better answer than mine. You can't see colors, you can't make games. Oh man, let's see what this did. Look at that! Look at that! It looks still like it's still a little green tinted though, huh? Did it leave the green tint behind the?
So iterate and say make the glass clear.
Yeah.
Or remove the green tint from the glass tubes or something. Yeah, and that's kind of one of the things you hear it a lot, but bad input, bad output in AI. So like it had a green tint, it assumed you needed a green tint. Well, that like you just gotta say like, actually get rid of it and
yeah, remove the white background, or make the background white and make the things that are make the tube transparent. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is also why like attention to detail iteration is still important, because I mean you're getting to something really fast here, but when people talk about AI slop and stuff, it's like, it doesn't look natural, or it's obviously generated and no one looked over it. It's like, would a human do this? And the answer, there you go.
Look at this. Yeah, and I think that's a great call out, right, Jeremy? Like, I think this is like let's take it from like the very like this is a primitive, right? Like no one would put this exact thing in game because it's clearly got a green background, right? It's not right. No one would expect this to be in a game. It's a piece of AI generated content. This is someone who's making a game that either doesn't have an eye for or does not care as much about the quality, might put in the game, and someone would look at it and see, oh, that's AI slop. It's clearly like, why do they have green tinted tubes? That's stupid. Someone who has a high attention to detail and is shipping a game that they would expect someone to be excited about not calling the art AI slop in would take the extra 5 minutes, 30 minutes, hour and a half, whatever it takes to get to the asset to be this. And this is probably actually not the final form. There's probably more shit that we'd want to do to this.
Yeah, well, even the hard thing here is, so if you clean this, if you save it out, it'll probably make it transparent in between the tubes. And in reality, something like this, how you actually want it, so you don't have any like shaders or anything through the glass tube to actually do a like transparent effect. So if you actually clean this and the white in between the tubes gets cleaned into a transparent background, when you put this over like a black background, the tubes are going to be white clear, right? So in reality is you actually need to have a version of this that goes on whatever it's supposed to be. So normally it would most likely be a piece of a tile set. And if it goes on like a brick wall, you'd actually have the brick wall tile behind it.
Yeah.
So, and so a lot of people think this is just 2D magic, basically 2D game magic. A lot of people, and this is why so much stuff went to 3D away from 2D, is because pre-AI, like, can you like just imagine the amount of art you need? And it's not that 3D is cheap or anything, but a 3D game, you can like literally model a tube, put it in this contraption. There's a shader that says, oh yeah, when you're looking through a tube, this is how it behaves on your GPU. And then you can literally put that on anything and it just works. So it's like kind of a make once, never worry about it again. 2D is very much not that way.
And that's why people say things like handcrafted and every piece of art, because it's like when they say every piece of art, they mean like everything you're looking at, on every screen in every instance.
Every frame.
Yeah, every frame. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's actually why I'm really excited about 2D is this is, I mean, the budget it would take to do any sort of like, think of like Arcane or something in a video game. And like, I think it'd be we're very far away from Arcane quality in a video game, but even just think about the style where everything's, and it's not true 2D, but the hand painted aspect of it is like, there you go. So now you can stick that on a brick wall and it'll look correct. And in fact, what you would probably want to do is have one of your tiles and you would stick it on one of your tiles. So you'd have a tile as a reference.
This would be the tile, right?
No. I mean, you would have a tile in your tile set as a reference, and you'd say, "Hey, make the background this tile set."
I would combine it with this thing and say, it's going on top of this, right?
Yeah. Or your wall.
I mean, not this thing literally, but yeah.
And so that's how you would want to do that one, just in general. So, but. Like that's going to be small enough in your game. It doesn't actually need to be perfect. A lot of textures are not perfect. So if you just had roughly a brick wall, and it's like really small, games are
look-
not perfect at all. So like a lot of stuff is just fudged together and you just never notice.
Brandon, what do you got going on?
Yeah, I mean, we do have something going on over here.
Is it still going? It's still chugging along.
Well, I have it working on a bug fix right now.
Oh, got it.
Yep. So I just rebuilt the entire game. So now we have our 3 platforms right there, and oh, it's still messing around with some of the code, so it might be weird. But its bug before was that the player was just changing colors back and forth, and I'm trying to make it so it's a collectible crystal, and then when you collect that crystal, then I think it would be nice for like the player to change colors right now until we actually get some more assets in here.
Yeah.
What
are those three little platforms at the bottom for?
Those are our puzzle platforms right here, just for testing.
Oh, got it.
So that's where I put it. And so like one of the cool things that we can see if I scroll up is that it implemented the first plan when I accepted it, and then it thought through a lot of issues that it had. And so we didn't specify anything about a death system. It just kind of found that, and it's like, oh, I found a real issue. The death system can respawn the player and not notify the chroma system. The chroma system being our puzzle system that we have right here for our chroma puzzle. And then it found a second and a third issue that it all iterated on. So the plan did take a little bit longer, but it automatically found potential issues and then fixed it. Cool. And it looks like it's done with the bug fix. So I will go ahead and rebuild. Cool. So it looks like we got a pulsating crystal in here. So when I collect it, I turn blue.
Yeah, look at that.
It's kind of cool. And so I land there, and it's turning green after 5 seconds, and I can't jump. But yeah, so it's rotating through the first 3. And so that's exactly what was in the first phase of our Markdown file. And so if we look at our Markdown file, it's saying that, where's phase 1? Phase 1 right here. Add a player color state, 3 colors, and then add the platforms in addition to the gray platforms by creating like an ID system.
I want to pause real quick. I need a bite-sized developer chunk here, and we should cut this into some sort of bite-sized short that we share out on the socials. But it bothers me that I don't know what the word singleton means, and it makes me feel like a simpleton when I read it, and I don't know what it means. What is singleton?
It's a way to access a certain object. So it's like one pointer into that object. It's almost like a global variable, but it's a design pattern for programming.
Got it. I'll never understand that, but I'm glad that we have the words now that I can put on the screen in captions. All right, so we moving on to phase 2?
Yeah, we're moving on to phase 2. So here we have our collectible integration here. I guess I kind of jumped the gun. Phase 2 was creating the collectible crystal, but we'll see. It just seemed like it should have been part of phase 1, which I should have caught earlier. But I'm still going to enter this prompt in because, oh no, it already did all this. So I mean,
so
it already did all this, so we can skip phase 2.
Yeah, I think we're on phase 3.
Yep.
Redesign to teach the cycle. Yeah, so put it at spawn, and then make the platforms so they're not just those 3 little things underneath.
Yep.
And I think what I would using IDs 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, so that's the different colors that we have. Cool. So I will start a new conversation.
And then do we want to tell it to remove the 3 little test platforms and make the existing not little test platforms use those colors, or do we want to do that in a separate step?
We can iterate on that. It might actually just do that automatically.
All right, let's see what happens.
Yep. So now it's going to go through its normal planning process.
And then Jeremy, I know you did a little bit of this last week, but I'd love for you to just can you can you click on Kimmy, Brandon?
Mm-hmm.
Based on what we're doing here, Jeremy, like tell us why we should be using Kimmy here and what we should be using the other ones for when we're using them.
So it's really a preference. There's a good website called artificialanalysis.com, and it will compare all the models together. It's more just about cost, more so than what you should be using, and speed. So Kimi K26 is a good combo of speed and smart. A lot of big companies use it. GLM 5.1 is actually a lot of people's personal favorite. It's just a little bit slower. And then, of course, Claude is the big daddy, but it's Sonnet 4.6. And one of the things with Claude is there is an Opus model and it's at 4.7, and there is GPT. The reason we don't use GPT is mainly about hosting and cost and things like that, more so than is it capable. And in the future, we may decide to add it. But Claude Sonnet 4.6 is nowhere near as good as Opus, but Opus is like 10x more expensive than Sonnet. So like, and you can already see Claude Sonnet's already more expensive than the others. So it really comes down to a cost trade-off. And the Minimax is the cheapest. It's also the worst. Kimi K26 is actually pretty freaking good, and it's not that expensive. GLM 5.1 is really good, but it starts to step up. So that's really, we tried to make it like simplified here, but if I was on a budget, I would use Kimi K26 all the time. It's also a little bit faster. If I just wanted the best and didn't care about cost, I'd probably use GLM 5.1 most of the time, and then switch to Claude Sonnet occasionally if I was running into issues or it couldn't find a bug or something. So,
and just for context for people listening, and again, I think as our friends in the editing team are cutting this up, this is probably a segment that we should cut up. I've built my little demo prototype of the card game that I've got using primarily a combination of Claude as the planner. I only use Claude as planning, and then GLM and Kimi as the coders, and then I use GLM and Kimi for the planning stuff. Basically, for anything that is not a new feature that doesn't exist at all. So like if I'm making a plan to tune the encounter system or to add new encounters or to add new cards or things that already exist but require some planning beyond the chat because there's a lot of them or they touch multiple systems, then I'll still use like Kimi or GLM for that. And the only time I'm using Claude is when I'm like, hey, I have a new system that is called the encounter system and I need to integrate it into my game. Then I'll work with Claude for a while to come up with that plan. And for context, I like spend quote unquote, like if like it's I work here, but I have the $200 subscription, and over the course of the last like 3.5-ish months, I've built something that's not quite a demo yet, but is probably about a month away from being a demo. And I would say I probably spent about $500 to $1,000 in compute just for and that's all up. Both the code and the art. I've made 150 cards and iterated on a bunch of them, and I have 20 backgrounds and so just for context, when Jeremy's talking about like cost and preference, that's not the thing I just said is not very scientific. But if you're to put it in a different lens or different metric, Jeremy used to make fun of me because I was coding for like 10 hours a day, 4 to 5 days a week in our code studio and making a couple hundred assets a week with animations. And again, that is probably like over the course of a few months. In addition to my $200 a month, I probably spent $500 to $1,000 in compute total, not each month. So again, just trying to give people a frame of reference for if you are using the expensive models, that's what that means. And if you're using just the stuff that comes with our subscription or trying to stay within the subscription that you're paying for, you can do so. It's just it's going to take a little bit longer to do whatever you're doing, and or might not take a little bit longer if you're talented and done things other than sold video games as a marketing person before.
Well, the cool thing too is like when you were starting on that and part of the cost, if you're doing a bunch of images, like we didn't have like our low, medium, high options. And so we've added tools to reduce costs over the time too. Yeah. And so I don't think it'll be quite as high because you were creating a ton of animations, which we have like optimized other props, backgrounds and stuff. So you don't need to do that. But yeah, I think that is a good call out though. And I think it's also good to point out too, that if you're worried about your weekly budget up here and you're just cruising along with Claude Sonnet, and you're using up a ton of credits, that's okay, because even if you run out of credits and you're a subscriber, you still default back to this Minimax M27, so you can keep on coding until you get more credits to go on.
KOC, as we like to say, keep on coding. Keep on coding.
Mhm.
We don't like to say that. I just said that for the first time on this stream. You guys, no one at this company's ever said those words before, or that acronym. Well, we are coming up to hour 3 on the stream. We're going to keep hanging out, and we're gonna wrap up this prompt and show it working. But for those of you that are hanging out, I saw IC. Thanks for stopping by, IC. We love you, brother. If you are interested in Makko and you want to learn more, go to Makko.ai. We have a free trial. You can come in and make a game, a prototype, a few animations, and then it's we like to think we're pretty affordable if you want to subscribe and do more. If you have questions, as a user, as a subscriber, as a potential user, drop by our Discord. It's discord.gg/Makko AI. We're in there all the time. There's someone from the team in there, not 24 hours a day, but pretty close to it. And so if you ask a question or tag us, we try to get back pretty quick. We also do giveaways and contests pretty regularly. Last week, we gave away 2 copies of Crimson Desert to people who came in and used the tool and created animations. This week, we're giving away 2 copies of Crimson Desert to people who come in and make backgrounds and static art. Next week, we'll probably do some sort of coding prototype contest, and we'll probably not give away Crimson Desert. I think Forza 6 just came out, and we'll probably do that. So if you want to win some cool games, if you have questions, if you want to build some cool stuff, if you want to hang out with people that we think are cool, and after seeing this, you think are cool, come to the Discord and hang out.
That's right. Did you mention office hours?
I did not. We also do office hours. Caesar, I don't have them. I don't have the actual office hour. What is the current office hours timing?
It's Fridays at 12 p.m. Pacific.
It's Fridays at 12 p.m. Pacific. We also do office hours, and you should drop by and hang out, especially if you have questions. But even if you don't, if you just want to watch us talk about making games with people, that's always fun too.
Yeah, I like the office hours because we'll be in there helping you use Makko, generate games, generate art assets, whatever. And so it's a good opportunity to just talk to us about how we use the tool and how we can help you out with what you're building.
Brandon also makes beer, and so if you want to talk to him about making beer during office hours, we can do that as well.
Oh yeah, I'd love talking about that. I'm actually coming up with I'm collecting the ingredients for a new lager right now. So that was fun. I just made a pale ale that turned out pretty good. It uses a bunch of experimental hops. But
nice.
Yeah, I could talk about that forever.
Caesar has 58 cats that he could talk about forever. Just naming them could take an hour and a half of office hours.
Have you memorized all your cat names?
Oh yeah, of course.
You're a good parent.
Of course, I asked him that too, and then I made him say all of them, and he did. He knows all of them. He might have been making them up, and if you repeated them now, I wouldn't know if he made them up. But they're it's not 58, but it's like you have 13 cats, right? 14 cats?
15. Yeah.
15. I was close. I was close. 13 would be fucked up. You can't have 13 cats.
And if I had a barn, I would have a lot more.
Ugh.
All right, our plan completed. So we designed the chroma cycle, and it is going to rewrite, and this is one of our paths.
It's going to put the crystal at the spawn point. It's going to create a series of colored platforms. Okay. Oh, it even called them spike hazards. It knows me. It gets me.
That's right. Oh, and then we got the gray arrest ledges too, so that's good. Oh, it's going to create a second color stretch. That's perfect.
And I like that it identifies no hard vertical climbs, tiny gaps, right? It's it's identifying what the challenge is and what it is not.
Cool. This looks good to me. Does it look good to you?
It does. It does.
I'll approve.
Jeremy, I'm glad that you I'm glad that you paused us and had us go through that design exercise, because I think it was it's going to help us get through these design decisions on what the challenges are a lot quicker too. Like once we start making things that are not just like pick up a crystal and the platforms change different colors, right? Because I do think we're going to want to, like, the platform changing color is going to be a thing, and the timing of the platform changing color is going to be a thing. And I think if we have a rubric to follow along what challenges are, it's going to be a lot more helpful.
Yeah. Also, most of the creative work is done during design, and like at a certain point, you're just pushing in prompts and testing and providing feedback, which is kind of boring. So
Yeah,
it's way more
True.
exciting to answer questions and do game design and stuff like that. So, which is eventually maybe we'll be able to automate that, but we'll see.
Well, and I think but to your point, like, this is a good question, and I'm going to kick it off again, so the editors can kick it off with this little tidbit, this little headline. Do you want to automate away the planning, though? I don't think so, because I think that's like what makes it unique and fun, right? I think we want to automate as much of the not knowing what to ask. Like in my perfect world, if someone came up and tried to make a game the way I try to make games, or I do it less now, but the way I did, it would show up and just be like, I want to make a platformer. Like in my perfect world, Makko is like saying, all right, cool, let's make a platformer. Here's how we do that together. And I know we tried, the thing we tried before was just like give them a list of questions and then no one actually ever answered them. So I'm excited to see where we land on the whatever version of that is that helps us get to, because the thing we just did, you're right, was fun. Like the thing we just did was more fun than just typing in make me a platformer and then arguing with it about whether or not the platforms are too close or the enemies are too fast. So that's what I get excited about. How do you think about building that into the product?
Yeah, and I think you misunderstood. I didn't say automate around the design. I'm saying automate all the things you're doing now, which is basically pencil pushing. You're looking at a prompt, copy and pasting files. You had to know to write the prompt in a specific way. That's what I'm talking about, automating away. And then also I'm a big believer, just a generic chat box is not a great interface for a lot of these complex workflows. Like you said, answering questions, getting questions in there. How do you capture those questions long term? But yeah, I mean, it would be an entirely different UI, different. Think of it. Most likely, it would be like some sort of node-based UI where like you would see the game, be able to go into each system or mechanic, read through your design specs for each system or mechanic, and it'd be like a living, breathing design sequence, and then at some point you just translate that. And I like to think about like, what if you could just go in and hit like, hey, go implement this component, and it goes through and implements the components. It might take 30 minutes, but it'll just go do it on its own, and then come back and more like, oh yeah, all right, it's ready to test. Go test it, and then you go test it and provide feedback. Make you kind of because like for a true no code. Like people that don't really know code or architecture or any of that, you want to get them kind of far away from it, because like the closer they are, the more things they can mess up. However, if you do know code, like you don't want to be far away from it. Similar to art, right? Like similar to anything. So kind of same thing with game design, except people kind of know what they want. They may not know how to make something fun, but they do know what they want, right? What they want is probably not fun, but that's a different conversation.
Yeah, and I always laugh because I don't know if you remember the original Jurassic Park movie. It's it's old at this point. I don't know how many people have watched it, but if you remember, I'm going to share my screen and get the right one up here, but I'm just going to go look for Jurassic Park original computer. If you look at the images here, right, like this is what the future, this is what the past thought the future of programming was going to be.
And you're not showing your screen.
Oh, really? It says I'm sharing it with Talk Studio. Oh, why not? Do I not have it up in the? Here we go. Can you see my screen now?
Yep.
This is what the 90s thought that computer programming was going to look like in the future, right? Like if for context, in the movie, the software programmer, this guy, is a bad guy, and he's locked down Jurassic Park and let all the dinosaurs free, and then he ran away. And the only way to unlock Jurassic Park and get the dinosaurs back in the cages and get everyone safe is to find the hack that he did. And the way that this teenager who's good with computers in the movie finds the hack is by accessing the base file, the computer, the core files of the operating system, which they visualized as these blue boxes that you would click on and then dive into the individual pieces of code and edit. Which at the time, and really up until very, very recently, in my opinion, like this was just a farcical way to think about how software and technology was visualized and built. And I think it's so funny that, like, obviously Jeremy's not suggesting that the thing I just showed you from Jurassic Park is what Mako is going to look like in a few months, but the idea of being able to visualize an abstract code into a shape or a thing on a screen that you could click into and interact with meaningfully is like so cool for someone as old as me, because like it was literally science fiction, when I was going to the movies for the first time. And Jeremy just described it casually as like a feature we might build in 3 months, which I think is great. That's my story about Jurassic Park, which I watch every year.
For the prompts that we were talking about, what about like a Mad Libs approach? Like, you guys remember those Mad Libs that you used to fill out? Like, it's the same template, but you just get to personalize it based on what you want for specific features. You think something like that could potentially work?
That's what I heard Jeremy describing, is like the Mad Lib is like you pull up the level and the bubbles you're talking about are like the game mechanics, right? It's like your level is the Mad Lib and the platforms are the things you're filling in, right? Like I'm playing and then instead of platformer, it might be roguelike or whatever. I'm trying to build a blah. And then like even if you don't know what blah is, that's where the AI fills in doesn't fill in the Mad Lib, it creates the Mad Lib, right? It's like, oh, okay, you want to create a roguelike or you want to create a platformer. That means you need platforms. Like, should your platforms should they have hazards or whatever, right? Like that's when I hear Jeremy say like click on elements of the game and have the AI guide you through it. Like that, again, I'm sure I'm bastardizing his vision, but that's what I hear is like being able to select elements that you want to change, the platforms, the player, the health, the timing, and then having the AI guide you through what might be fun to change about those variables in the game to make the game more interesting.
Yeah, and think about it this way. Like, so I basically did for you guys what the AI would do. So I was like, here's what your workflow should be. You should ask these questions. You should do these things. So think about it that way. You would still come in and very high level describe what you want. So like, okay, I want to make this game. Here's the details about it. But then it would kind of comprise the workflow you need to do. And instead of trying to get you to design the entire game, it would also want to prioritize things. So and then it could use previous design decisions to impact future design decisions. So instead of just going, oh yeah, I need to like design everything all at once and then just go code it all at once, it would go, okay, so here's this game. Like it would know, here are the types of systems we need to design. You would go in, design those systems, and then you would go, and then it would choose, like once you had a set of core components that you could go build, then you start go building it and you test those core components out, and then you move to the next thing and the next thing. Because it's also not fun to, there's in software, it's called waterfall versus agile. They're just development frameworks, and waterfall can work really well, but it's boring. And as an individual creative, most people do not like waterfall. Waterfall exists because it's easy to organize groups around stuff and get people together, and it makes like senior people feel really important because they get to make all the decisions and delegate it to junior people. Whereas like
and it's easy for them to keep track of that too with waterfall.
Yeah, exactly. Reporting and corporation and organization management. So it exists not because it's good, but because corporations need it, basically. And then whereas like agile, there's some really bad bastardizations of agile, but at its core, what it's supposed to be is it's supposed to just be like, hey, what is the smallest thing I can go build? I'm going to go build it, see if it's good. And if it's not good, either scrap it, build something else, or keep working on it until I make it good. And that's really how game loops should be designed. And there's some really interesting things that, like, Patrick Wyatt, he is one of the Blizzard guys early on. He was at Amazon for a while. He used to, what he wanted you to do and wanted Amazon to do, of course they never really did it, was like take a core game loop and not just implement it, but literally go play test it. So like screw everything else about the game. Like you don't need the UI, you don't need all these progression systems. You know, take the core game loop, get it to 10,000 people. Do people enjoy playing? Because like take like League of Legends or something. There's all these outside progression systems or skins. There's all this stuff. There's all different kits. But if you can't take 2 people in League of Legends and play the game and it's fun, like you don't have a core game loop, right? And so that's where Agile is all about. It's like you want to do that for each system, whether it's your progression system, your core game loop, whatever it is. You want to take that system, and that system should be fun. And until that system's fun, you shouldn't be moving on to other systems. So that's kind of the way, that's the end goal. I'm sure it will not look like that for a very, very long time. But you know, that's where we want to be, and we want to use AI to help us get to that. I don't really know that AI knows what fun is. AI knows pattern recognition. It knows what people said made other games fun. It doesn't even know what made other games fun. So it's really good research tool and whatnot. But ultimately, I think, you know, Patrick Wyatt is like, he's a legend in the gaming industry. He knows what you got to play games. You got to play the game loop to see if it's fun. And
you got to get other people to play it. That's actually one of the things that Jeremy and I were talking about this week that I'm really excited about. You know, the vision for Makko is that it's a place where people can come and make all the stuff that they need, but also, you know, at one point, like, get the feedback they need to make their game more fun as well. And like, we think that we can do a lot of really cool stuff with like a closed loop of, hey, you built the thing here. The AI has the context for what you built and how you built it. Now you can bring people in to play it, and while they're playing it, we can build feedback loops in that then just add more context. And again, like Jeremy said, isn't going to help make the game. It probably going to help make the game fun, but it's not going to make the game fun. It's going to create outputs that let you synthesize lots and lots of playtest data quickly, so you can make the game fun. So you can hear someone that isn't your 2 friends that you've known for decades that have worked in the video games industry for 20 years that can play your game and tell you that it needs encounters. Hopefully the AI can do that after some gameplay tests, right? That's the dream. And sorry, real quick, I know Caesar just messaged me and said he's got to go pick up his 16th cat. So he's gonna get out of here. But we appreciate you hanging out, Caesar, and we'll see you next week, brother.
Heck yeah, I'm excited to see where this ends up. Talk to you guys soon. Thank you guys for having me.
later.
See you.
All right, so where are we at, Brandon?
We are at, so we iterated on making this a little bit more difficult here. So there's gaps that we can fall through. And then I was verifying that we actually took damage when it changed color. So as we specified before, if it changed colors while we're still on the platform, it's good. But if we jump up and go back down, it takes away about 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so now we're on to our last phase of this puzzle, which is just making the platform glow when it is the color that you should jump on.
Nice.
Yeah. And so it did want to create like a crystal icon in the upper left-hand corner, and then also add a timer that counts down in between color changes. I said, don't do that. So I just
shit on the screen.
Yeah, I want a more minimalistic type of gameplay feel. I think a minimal UI is always helpful, especially in like a type of roguelike exploration game that we want to get to. And so like the only thing that we have displayed right now is this pressure, this rift timer. So it looks like it completed. So let's see what happens. Here we go.
Oh, look at them.
Yep. So it's a little bit lighter, and they change.
You can really see. You can really see when it changes.
Yeah. I mean, we might want to mess around with what color it changes to, but yeah. I mean, that is a very basic puzzle that we just implemented.
All right. Well, Everyone, we appreciate you joining us today. We ran a little bit over, and we will probably continue to run over every time we do this. I imagine that we have these scheduled from 1 to 4, and I imagine that they will continue to run to 4:30, 5 o'clock.
1 to 4 PST.
1 to 4 PST, and I imagine they will continue to run over as we continue to find fun stuff to talk about and build. And honestly, this is just great content for us. We'll chop this up over the course of the next week and get a bunch of great stuff out of it. So thanks for joining us. As a recap of what we talked about today, Jeremy ran us through a high level of what's coming down the pipe for animations, and then we did a deep dive into how those changes are going to be able to allow you to make different types of animations, to combine different elements on the site, or sorry, on the of different elements of the art that you're making. So you'll be able to create props and put those props into the character's hands. We made a character based on Jeremy's Discord PFP, made some weapons for that character, and then had that character run around with those weapons. And so you'll be able to do that soon. Super excited about it. And then we moved into Brandon building Rift Runners, which is our upcoming first-party platform puzzler. You're going to be focused on closing rifts in time before the rifts in time destroy the city that you're in. We spent a little bit of time designing what puzzles might look like in this game. We took it from a high level. This is what a puzzle is. You know, it has elements where a player has something that they need to pick up or engage to trigger it. They have challenges, which can be time-based or damage-based or traversal-based, travel-based, exploration-based. And then we iterated with the AI on what that first puzzle should look like and how we should build it into the game. For this puzzle, we chose kicking off a pattern recognition or pattern matching puzzle where you pick up and I guess timing as well. You pick up a crystal. The crystal turns your character a specific color, which rotates every couple of seconds in the game. And as your character changes colors, the platforms that you're able to jump on without taking damage or reducing the amount of time that you have to finish the level, which is our form of damage in this game, goes down. So when your character's purple, if you jump on a green platform, you reduce the time that you have to finish the level by 10 seconds. And then lastly, we invite all of you to join our Discord. We have office hours every Friday at noon PST. We all hang out and make games and talk to people about making games and art. And we do lots of contests and giveaways. We just gave away 2 copies of Crimson Desert. We're giving away another 2 copies of Crimson Desert this week if you come in and make some art. And we like to have a good time and hang out and answer any questions you have. So thanks for tuning in. Follow us on X, Twitter, YouTube, and go to Makko.ai and make your own games and game art. We'd love to hear from you. Have a good one. Oh, Jeremy and Brandon, remember, put yourselves in the corner